What up, cappers, gamblers, punters, hustlers, low baggers? Happy Friday, June 10th to all of you. Thank you for watching Betting with the Bag right here on Pub Sports Radio. The winners just keep rolling in. We're in our third month, I believe, now of just cashing in and cashing and cashing. It's glorious. I did lose my first bet of the Canadian Football League season, so I apologize to those who tailed me on that one. We're going to go over the new rule changes because they did play quite a big part in a higher scoring, more open game. And there was an idea that the quarterbacks were going to start bombing these 40, 50-yard passes a lot more than we saw last year, and that was sure the case. It was the case in the preseason, in the exhibition season, and it was the case here in the first game of the year. But, man, have we just written the script for the Eastern Conference Finals? It's just, I feel so good. I had some tough times during the regular season, and to be able to show out like this and have all the futures coming through, and to now it's not over. The winning that fourth game is extremely difficult, and the Rangers aren't just going to roll over and play dead. I'm not going to be on the under in Game 6. We cashed the under 5 at plus 123. We cashed the Lightning -1 at plus 133. We cashed the no score for the Rangers in the first period at -115. Mr. Gogster cashed the first period draw at plus 150 and the no score in the first 10 minutes. And we're 11-0 combined this week in NHL. I've gone 5-0 plus 6.11 units. Pistol Pete Loshak 4-0 plus 4 units. And Mr. Gogster 2-0 plus 2.50 units. Winning day in MLB, although it's not a relaxing winning day, but I just feel, instead of this like screaming, yelling, like let's go, all that, I just feel like this sense of calm. Bankrolls growing, huge, or biggest that I've ever had it. Let me just put it that way. It's my bankroll. It will be at the end of the season when the futures come in. It'll be my biggest bankroll, and I'll have some opportunities to do certain things. One will be, putting a few K in a Pinnacle account to help with the odds. But a calm has come over me over the last little while, where I'm not freaking out. My palms aren't sweating. As you know, I haven't been boozing during the week. Now, if I could change my horse racing it's been a terrible Triple Crown for me, and it's been a bad Triple Crown. I've done poorly in Triple Crown races since Maximum Security went down, but we'll be live all day on Saturday with the Belmont Stakes special. I hope you guys can join us. We've had a lot of people supporting our horse racing Saturday shows, and it allows us to do more of them. And I'll be on Razor Sharp Picks Friday show, Cash It Fridays tonight. And we need all the support we can get for that show as well. The more we support our horse racing shows, the more we can do them. So please do that. Please support our horse racing shows. But God, it just feels so good. And the situation here is not just me succeeding. It's not that at all. It's us succeeding. It's us as a group. It's listening. It's working together. In baseball, I lean on you guys so heavily, but I lean on you guys in all sports. So this us, our bankrolls as a group getting bigger and bigger and bigger is not. It's not because of me. I host the show. It's because of us as a group working together to defeat the juice and listening to each other and sharing angles, and we're seeing. We're seeing the rewards we're getting all over the map, and we're earning all of these victories that are coming in. We're earning because of our hard work and listening and all that good stuff. So, God damn, it feels so goddamn good. Shout out to all the cappers joining us in the show. We have a huge show for us today. We have Bobano in the house. Big Bobano. We're going to talk about the 3 CFL games off the top. They're coming up. I've made bets on each of them. Then we're going to talk about MLB. We're going to go through the whole MLB card. And as I said, Bobano coming off a 10-3 day. His record is outstanding. 42-30, 58.3% plus 10.12 units. ROI plus 14.06 AvLine -105. Then it's Derl will join us. His winning percentage against the spread and on totals has gone down to 57.4%. So it's going to be tough to reach that 60%.
What happened? What happened?
He had a tough game 3 with
back
in the Warriors. Yeah, Tough.
Nice.
So Darryl will be joining us, and then Teece, Parlay Teece, our WNBA expert, is going to join us at the end of the show to give us his 2 best bets. So let's just keep doing what we're doing and having our bankroll grow and grow and grow, and hopefully our unit size as well. And look, if any of you guys want to pull out a K or a couple K, do it. I'm not. I dream when I see guys like Kyle Hintley and Kaepernick, our friends making big bets. I'm insanely jealous, and I dream of that and being able to do that. But betting bankroll, bet size appropriate, and my bankroll will be comfortably over 10K as soon as the futures come in, and I'm not taking 1 cent out. Not 1 fucking cent. Shout out to everybody joining us. We got Viper in the house. Says, called the Lightning score again. Vipe, my man. Impressive work. Now, he's on the Brewers first 5 -1/2. The Fetty fade. He's been very successful. That he's on the Blue Jays over 9. Astros first 5 under 4. Mets money line is locked in. I've already bet the Lightning in game 6. I've made 3 CFL bets today, and I've made 3 MLB bets today. I'm on the Blue Jays on the -1 line. I got in not that early. I got in last night, so I could have gotten earlier. But I moved on the Dodgers confidently. Now, there's been a lot of talk, about Bueller and his movement dying down. And it could be a sticky stuff situation that he's not using. But I really think the division rivalry on the road will have him throwing his very, very best today. I think the Giants will bring the very best out of him. So I've moved on those 3 bets, and that's it. And there's 4 other bets I wanted to move on, but everything seemed like I wanted to talk it out with you guys. We have no afternoon baseball, so we have a lot of time to figure out how we are going to bet that. Glad to hear you cashing with the Lightning with us, Max Swelly. I really feel like, and no disrespect to any of you guys who had the Rangers in game 5, because look, they were 8-1 at home and they were a plus money situation, but it felt like and I'm not that old, 42. I feel like I'm sort of old in NHL just because I've, it was the only thing I wanted to talk about when I was 6. So just my whole life it's been my favorite sport. Now horse racing has taken over. Horse racing is my favorite sport, even though I don't succeed in it as much as I'd like to. But it just felt like all the old heads, they knew that the Lightning were a different breed. And maybe someday the Rangers will be that breed, and they will have to take the L here as part of their lessons. And it felt good watching it all come to fruition, although it wasn't very easy. But look, the Lightning without Braden Point are not going to make anything easy. And they're not going to have any high-scoring games. Although in Game 6, in a situation where you can eliminate a team, it makes it sound like you could have an empty net. Goalie pulled with 4 minutes left. Fap win in the house, relaxing comfortably by his 55-gallon drum of lube. Has a little 2-game money line parlay on Houston and San Diego at plus 134. There's Brian Watson in the house. James S says, "How about them Lightning? Old dog has the Bombers to cover in over 49. I am rocking my BC Lions jersey. Be curious if you guys know who it is." There's a little hint. Number 1. This is he was my favorite quarterback at the time. Tinfoil hat play strikes again. That was gorgeous, Mike M. 4-2. We were all over it. All over it. Thank you, Michael Irvelina. Yes, it just the run is it's a pretty astounding run. And it's all of us working together. It's all of us on the show, 11-0 plus 12.61 units this week in NHL. But man, a 19-4 run in the playoffs plus 17.08 units, and it started when I was 8-9, and now I'm 27-13, hitting at 67.5% plus 16.42 units. ROI 41.05% with an average line plus 106. Just goddamn feels good. This feels so good. There's Sammy Calmer in the house. Says on the road to Toronto, so won't be active in the chat. Let's have a fucking weekend. I love that, Sammy. I love that. You're coming down for the Jays game, right? I believe. Oh, wait, the Jays aren't even here. We're in Detroit. Yeah, I forget why you're coming down. But drive safe, Sammy Calmer. Much love to you. Paco Healy ready to go. Says, sweet Lechita. Serious business. We have JB, Tampa Bay Parlay. Gorgeous. Tampa Bay. Eric Jones ready to go. Billy Friedrich. And there's North Ender in the house. I love it. I love that we're all catching. It's just been a real nice run for us all. And it's been an elongated one. There's OKK in the house. Fanatical Jim ready to get to work. Danny Lopez. Walla Walla Dose. And North Ender staying off the under as well. Yeah, it's just very simple. Lightning -1. And, usually I wouldn't be betting it, but we've made a ton of money on this series. And I say I wouldn't be betting it just because I cashed the futures. So I get $1,500 for the Lightning win. I have $400 at plus 375. So I get $1,500 and then have the opportunity to cash $2,800 if they win the cup. And I think they're going to win game 1 because I think the Avalanche are going to be off for too long. And we just saw it happen. And you guys read that so well with the Lightning being off. So then the Avalanche will have the advantage comes game 3, 4 as the series goes on. Fireside says, seems like Lightning got away with holds and hooks all game, though it's still on the Rangers to adjust. Rangers had a ton of chances and Strome missing on an amazing pass. Open net sums it up. Yes. Dennis Garcia said Friday should always be a horse show. I'd like that, Dennis. AM says, nice bounce back for the Titty Sauce play today with the Dodgers. Ready for another big day. I love it. AJ, yes. BC Lions jersey. Red Girl in the house. We've missed you, Red Girl. Great to see you, Ronnie and Bergie and Mark Schillingberg. And there's Big Ragu. What a day yesterday. 9-1 for the Big Ragu. I haven't loaded in those stats. Ton of work. So much work getting prepared for the horse racing show and everything. So I was just hammering out. I was working. Paco Healy. Roger that. Congratulating Big Ragu. I do have all of the stats, and I look at them very closely, and I care about them very much. So, Lucas Ryan said, my first CFL game that I tailed the under, ripped my bankroll. Sorry, Lucas Ryan, that we'll talk about the new rule changes. And yeah, I was wrong. It was just wrong. I was wrong. I apologize. We can change things. There's Teece already up and at him. He was texting me at 4 a.m. He's up and at him, ready to go. Justin Bilbo. All right. Nasty Nate in the house, North Ender. Okay, Dennis. Oh, what's Dennis saying? We got to move on. Oh, wow. I'm way behind on the comments. Dennis saying turnovers gifted each team a TD. Under wasn't a bad call. Just didn't get there. Yeah. Nasty Nate ready to bet on his Celtics. Gary Tenebra in the house. Stimmy OG. Cash that Alouettes +4. That did anger me. You're a good man. Thank you, Clint, for the kind words. And Jay Peasy. Nice winning day. I love that. Jared TG. Look, Jared TG, I'm 42. I've been at this for a long time, and it's a process. And look, my unit size hasn't gone up since in like 3.5 years. In fact, I cut 25% off all my bets over the Christmas holidays. Now I did come back with this big run we've been on. All right, I love it. Okay, let's get to work. Thank you guys all so much for joining us. Wine time, thank you. It's just been a great run. Big Ragu looking at that. Diamondbacks fills first 5 under 4.5. Ronnie and Bergia says, please release your CFL bets to me. Well, I tweeted them out as always. And Nat State says we are the youngest 42 we can possibly be. I like the sounds of that. JJB says, I love horse racing, but my wallet does not. Well, look, one thing, and I don't take this too much to heart, really, but my dad always tried to teach me not to bet on horses for fun. If you need money, don't go to a horse track. Now, I try to win money, obviously when I'm at the horse races, but when I bet on my main 4 sports, I do it as an investment. I'm trying to make money. I'm trying to build a bankroll. I'm trying to, do all these things. When I bet horses, I'm still at that stage where I'm just really doing it for fun. They take 20%. Now you could say, look, books take 20%, Bet365 takes 20%, and that's all valid. I'm just not that good, I guess, at horse racing, and I want to be better, and I'm around the right guys. Thank you, Lee Davis. Yeah, it feels very good. Okay, I wish I could give a what's up to all you guys, but let's go. Die Hard MMA podcast giving us his action here. Let's get that in right now. Where is it? There's my guy, Officer 50 Ayasha, Mississippi Whisperer, B-Ball 619. We haven't seen you in too long. Thank you for sharing your UFC action with us. I will, there it is in the chat, and I will also talk about it here during different times in the show, and especially let everybody know about it as we go over all action. All right, I wish I could give you all a what's up. Know that I would prefer if we could, but we have a ton of work to do, and let's begin that work. Let's bring on your first guest of today's show, coming to us from Canada's Steel Town, Canada's black and yellow, Hamilton, Ontario, who have their first game of the season. His beloved Ticats are at Mosaic Stadium in Regina, Saskatchewan. Please welcome to the show our guy, Mr. Ian Cameron in the house. Bobano, how are you?
Yeah, where we never win, Jimmy, in Saskatchewan, but we'll give it a shot tomorrow night and see how it goes.
And I am on the Rough Riders at -2.5. And maybe it's just that vividness bias, but I can't wait to talk about all these things. There's my guy, Cole Coleone, in the house. Let's get to work, Bobano. I'm going to give you your shout-outs for MLB when we begin that. I have already mentioned it off the top of the show, how you went 10-3, by the way, on Friday. You're just running.
Yeah, it was a great Friday last week in baseball. Last time on the show, for sure. Yeah, awesome.
Which means that after that opening 1-9 start, you're 41-21 here on the show in MLB. Ooh-wee. All right, let's get to work, Bobano. We start in the CFL, and I'm 0-1 to start the year. Let's quickly talk about the new rule changes, and they sure seem to be at play yesterday. The big one is they moved the hash marks on the field. So each one will be 28 yards from the nearest sideline instead of 24 yards. So they will be 9 yards apart instead of 17 yards apart, and it's opened up the field. Secondly, after a made field goal or a single point drive started at the 40-yard line instead of the 35-yard line, and teams kicking off for any reason will do so from their 30-yard line instead of the 35. The only exception will be on kickoffs following a safety, but even that will occur from the 20-yard line instead of the 25. So obviously the heads of the CFL were uncomfortable with the lack of scoring last year and have made changes to fix that. Do you want to add anything to these new rule changes?
I ain't betting unders, at least not in week one. That much I know. Although I do think that Hamilton game might be the under this week because I like the defenses more than the offenses in both of those in that game. But no, overall you're right. It's not just the hash marks and where they're positioned, which means the quarterbacks are going to be more enticed to throw to the wide side of the field. And if you talk to anybody that plays in a pass defense or in a secondary in the Canadian Football League, they will all say to a man that basically we're fucked trying to defend the wide side. It's much more difficult to defend that side of the field in the Canadian Football League. And that's usually where the big plays in the passing game happen. And if you're going to get quarterbacks now that are going to get enticed to throw to that area of the field, then yeah, it definitely opens up the possibility for more big plays and more offense. And you might see that. And it's not just that rule. It's the fact that kickoffs are moved back a little bit. So that's going to increase and improve average starting field position for offenses. You've got that. You've got after a field goal or a rouge, a single point, you've got the team starting with the next possession at their own 40-yard line instead of their own 35-yard line. And the biggest change of all that's really going to, I think, boost scoring is the no yards penalty change. Where before, for as long as I've been alive, and I'm going to be 37 next month, as long as I've been alive, the no yards penalty has been a 5-yard penalty when the ball hits the ground and then it's fielded, or it's a 15-yard penalty only if the ball is caught, the punt is caught. It's then 15 yards for no yards if you're infringe on that little 5-yard zone to give the kick returner. But this year, it doesn't matter whether the kick returner, the punt returner catches the ball, catches the punt, fields it, or doesn't field it. Every no yards penalty starting this season is 15 yards. And what that means now, Jimmy, is it's going to mean that the average starting field position is probably going to be close to the 50-yard line. In a lot of situations, you could even see drives starting at midfield, and you could be looking at that as I'm interested. That's definitely a stat I want to look at after this week, after next week, week 3, etc. I want to look at a stat that tells me what's been the average starting field position for the offenses here in the CFL. And from all of these rule changes that have been put into play, you're looking at a situation where you can see 45, 50, 55-yard line, midfield, be the average starting field position in the CFL, which means You get 1 first down and you're already in field goal range. 2 at the most, first downs and you're already in field goal range. So it really is the CFL trying to increase scoring. I think they were embarrassed by the product at the beginning of last season, to be quite honest. Like, it was just dreadful. The offenses were non-existent. It was an underpalooza. I don't think Randy Ambrosie, anybody in the league, liked to see that level of offensive ineptitude. And obviously with these rule changes, they've worked to fix that.
Yeah, no, that was beautifully put. And yeah, and Dennis thinks that our under in game one was still, I mean, it opened at 43.5 and went all the way up to 48. And every site everywhere was on the over. And then when Stanback got hurt, I was like, well, this should be a pretty easy squad to defend now, if they're going to be throwing the ball. So it was difficult. It was a tough loss to start the year, and also,
but you know what's scary about that game? What did it end? 30-27? Wasn't that the final? Yeah, that was the final score. 57 points. Neither quarterback played all that well, and the passing yards were, not great at all on either side. Adams or Mitchell, who left the game, of course, due to injury. So you factor that, it's not even like the offenses were at their absolute best. It's not like it was an offensive clinic on either side, and there was still 57 points. So it speaks to what the field position and the much better starting field position. And all night long, you're seeing these drives start 40, 50-yard line close to midfield. I mean, when you're starting drives consistently at that area of the field, it's not going to take much to put points on the board.
And Dennis said it was so much fun last year. I loved last year. But also I think one thing I needed to realize was I was 500 before I hit that 11 game winning streak. And it was in the second half of the season. And it was only a 14 game season, but it was in the second half of the season. So, I shouldn't be overly confident here to start the year, because when do you get out of the gates in the CFL white hot? You need to kind of sit back with these teams for a bit. But let's get right to work. We start Friday, June 10th, this evening at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. Ottawa Redblacks 3-11, 2-5 on the road last season at the Winnipeg BlueBombers, your Grey Cup champions, 11-3, 7-0 at IG Field in Winnipeg, Manitoba last year. Let's start with the line history. Why don't we start with the line history, and then we will go into all the other very important. What the hell? Looks like I'm going to have to pull this up again. Sorry, this will just take a second. First off, the Redblacks have been terrible for a long time, and there's a lot of people who believe that will change this year thanks to 2018 East All-Star Jeremiah Masoli, former Hamilton quarterback, a quarterback very, very well, who is now under center. And not only is he under center, you have Darius Sirocco snapping the ball to him, his center, and then you have a wide receiving core and a running back core that is much stronger, especially picking up William Powell after a couple seasons in Saskatchewan. And that was one of the hesitations backing Saskatchewan for me, was that William Powell is not going to be there. Let's just quickly look at the line movement here. And wow, it has moved huge even since this morning. Look, I was late to the party. It opened up at 11.5 2 weeks ago. I got in on the first half plus 6. That was when the game was at 9.5. And that is not the case. I moved to 8.5 this morning and then 7.5 this morning. Wow. So a huge move towards this Ottawa Redblacks squad. There's people out there that think this Redblacks team can win 10 games this year. They're now under the guidance of general manager Sean Burke. Since the start of 2019, 6-26 straight up, 10-22 against the spread. Last year, their offense was atrocious, 264.8 yards a game and 16 points per game. They add Darvin Adams, they add Jalen Acklin, and they're going up against the defending Grey Cup champions, who are 19-7-1 against the spread in their last 27 games at home. The Redblacks, I guess we can put a line through the Redblacks stats. Why don't we do that? Because 3-9 against spread their last 12 road games. Look, this is a different team with Masoli under center. And when we talked about Vernon Adams and we talked about Bo Levi Mitchell having such terrible preseasons, you can't say that about Masoli. He's looked very good. The Bombers, though, had one of the most dominant defenses we've ever seen in CFL history. They allowed just 13.4 points per game and are back-to-back Grey Cup champions, although there was the year in between. So 2 Grey Cup champions the last 3 years. Zach Collaros, again, leading this team at quarterback. They're going to be without Kelvin McKnight, wide receiver with a hip injury, fullback Mike Miller. Redbacks are going to be out, without William Powell because of the Achilles injury.
Yep.
They actually have a bunch of injuries. Offensive lineman Randy Richards, Nigel Romick, defensive lineman, and Brendan Galanders. But I moved on Ottawa first half. I think they're going to have a lot of hope early in the season. I think it will fall apart late. Take it away, Bobano. First game this evening, the only game this evening, and it is the Redblacks versus the Blue Bombers.
Yeah, this is if Ottawa was playing any other team but Winnipeg here, I'd be back in the Redblacks. I would, because I really do think there's potential for them to go from being one of the worst teams in the CFL last year to being one of the I don't want to say the best. They're not going to be, I think, at the top of the league, but I think they have the potential to be one of the most improved teams. Let's say that. They have the chance to be one of the most improved teams in the CFL, because really there's nowhere to go but up. If you look at the way Ottawa played last year, I mean, it was an absolute disaster. They were shuttling in quarterbacks that in and out that couldn't play. Caleb Evans, you go on down the list. There's another guy that played for them a bit. He struggled. Matt Nichols, of course, got hurt and didn't play the rest of the year. Caleb Evans wasn't great. They had Duck Hodges down the stretch, and he's not even in the league. And I think he retired from pro football, so that didn't last too long. I mean, it was just a shit show at the quarterback position last year for the Ottawa Redblacks. So you go from this mishmash of quarterbacks that can't play to suddenly bringing in Jeremiah Masoli, a proven winner in this league, proven number 1 quarterback in this league. It's going to do wonders. And the only question is, how quickly does he pick up and grasp the offense? It's a new offense, obviously new coaching staff. He's with his a very good offensive mind, though, when you think of the head coach here, Paul LaPolice. Whoop, whoop. That's the sound of LaPolice. Whoop, whoop. That's the sound of the beast. I had to get that one in there. But, yeah, Paul LaPolice for the Ottawa Redblacks. Definitely a guy that's got a good offensive mind, did a hell of a job as an offensive coordinator in Winnipeg. Before he got the head coaches, facing his former team. That's actually a storyline here, that Paul LaPolice gets to play the team that he was with before getting the head coaching job in Ottawa. But no, Masoli's going to be, I think, very good. And it helps that he's got Jalen Acklin, a former Ticats as well, at wide receiver, who played extremely well for the Ticats last year at the receiving position. They've got some weapons now. The O-line was horrible. That is the one area of concern here for Ottawa, is their O-line is still a work in progress. And you mentioned Richards, one of their starting O-linemen won't play tonight. And you've got to go up against one of the best, not one of, but they probably are the best defensive line, defensive front, best pass rush, best edge rush in the CFL, that being the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. But an edge rush that's taking a hit tonight. Jackson Jeffcoat is out for Winnipeg. So that is a significant, that's one of the 2 great bookends, him and Willie Jefferson. For years on this Winnipeg defensive front, the 2 pass rushers, the 2 edge rushers, they have been just absolutely spectacular for Winnipeg for many years. And now you're not going to have, obviously, Jackson Jeffcoat in tonight due to injury. So that they do take a hit with that here tonight in this game. How can the offensive line withstand? That's the question. The defense for Ottawa the offense was worse than the defense last year, but the defense really wasn't that great either. It's going to be interesting to see what Winnipeg, Jimmy, does offensively, because they relied so much on running the football. You wouldn't tell it's a CFL team the last couple of years, because they've really been committed to running the football the last couple of years. I mean, they've actually run the football more than thrown it these last couple of years with Buck Pierce, the offensive coordinator. Mike O'Shea's always wanted a balanced offense. But Buck Pierce, the offensive coordinator for the Bombers, he had a good quote the other day. He said, we don't have Andrew Harris anymore. And it's not that we don't have faith in Brady Oliveira and Johnny Augustine. It's going to be like a running back by committee with those 2 guys this year for the Bombers. But we think we've got more than enough confidence now after seeing Zach Collaros for a full season last year, and to complete over 70% of your passes for a full season. We have confidence in Zach making plays in the passing game. He was hinting at maybe Winnipeg opening up the playbook a little bit this year, that they're going to take some more shots down the field. They bring in a veteran receiver in Greg Ellingson to withstand the loss of Kenny Lawler. Because remember, Kenny Lawler, one of the best receivers in the CFL last year, he went to Edmonton. They kind of had to fill that void, and I think they filled it well with Ellingson. Ellingson had a horrible year last year, but to me, he didn't just lose his skills at wide receiver in 1 year. He was a victim of a horseshit, embarrassing debacle that was the Edmonton Elks last year. That to me is why Greg Ellingson had the year he had. Trevor Harris never, settled in. He never settled in and played well. Cornelius is not a CFL quarterback, in my opinion. He had him playing a lot down the stretch. I mean, Edmonton was a mess. Their offensive line was horrible. Edmonton, they had all kinds of issues. The coaching of Elizondo, what a complete bust he turned out to be as a head coach, Jamie Elizondo. I can't believe it, how bad he was. I mean, I thought he was ready to be a big-time coach because he had a nice run as OC with Ottawa. Brings Harris there, brings Ellingson there, and it couldn't have gone worse for him. I mean, the whole thing was just brutal for Edmonton, and I think Ellingson got caught up in that. I think he's going to have a bounce-back year. He's with a winning team, a great quarterback now in Collaros, so watch him have a big year. I'm on another over here, just like last night. That's my play here in this game, over the total. I think when you look at it, Ottawa is a team that offensively, there's going to be significant improvement. You're not even going to be able to tell, I think, this offense this year compared to the absolute disaster it was last year. And on the other side, look, Winnipeg's defense is the biggest concern, the biggest obstacle for this game going over, because it is an elite defense, and it still is. But there is no Jeffcoat tonight. There are a couple of changes in the secondary this year, which could take time. I love Big Hill at linebacker, leading that group. He's still a great player. And still a very, very ferocious. It will be arguably the best defense in the CFL again this year, Winnipeg. But I think Ottawa can do some damage, and I certainly think Winnipeg will move the ball against Ottawa because there's still a lot of issues, I think, at the defensive end of the field for them coming into the year. So I'm not involved in the side. I don't want to necessarily go against Winnipeg in their home opener, raising the banner, two-time champs, and they've destroyed Ottawa the last two times they've played them. But those were a couple years ago. I'm not going to lay the points. I want to bet on my feeling coming into the year, Jimmy, is I want to bet on Ottawa. I want to get on this team quickly because I think they're going to be much improved, but I just can't do it tonight. It's just the worst possible opponent and venue they could have asked for in week one. And as much as I love Masoli and what he's going to bring to this offense, you're still talking about your first regular season game with a couple new faces going on the road against the best team in the CFL. It won't be easy. So the lean is Ottawa. I passed on that, but I am going to make the over an official play.
Over 48 at -110, available right now at Pinnacle. It's 48.5 at Bet365. I'm on the Redblacks first half +6 at -110. I love hearing that Big Hill is out. I think that's probably part of the reason with this market move, because I did not have that in my notes. Jefferson and Jeffcoat still, Oh, sorry, you said that. Sorry, who you didn't say Big Hill was out? Did you say Jeffcoat's out?
Yeah, Jackson Jeffcoat is out. He's one of the two. Sorry. He's the other end of the edge rush, pass rush duo. Willie Jefferson's in, so no Jackson Jeffcoat though. But those two are like a tandem. Like they're both great individually, but they are absolutely lethal when they're both on the field, obviously at the same time. But you're not going to have that tonight, so it is a bit of a blow for Winnipeg.
Yeah, I think, and also, it wasn't sold out, by the way, at McMahon yesterday. It's going to be sold out here, but I do think that it'll take Winnipeg a little bit of time to establish their dominance in this game. So I'm comfortable with that first half of +6. Now it's sitting here at 4.5. Let's touch on these two games on Saturday, and let's tighten it up a bit because we have a huge MLB card we got to go through. Bobano and everybody itching for MLB, especially with the run that we are both on of late, and everybody in the chat's on. It's been glorious. Let's go into this next game here. It's tomorrow, Saturday. Hamilton Tiger Cats at Saskatchewan Roughriders, Mosaic Stadium, Regina, Saskatchewan. Your Ticats 8-6, 3-4 on the road last year, and lost in the Grey Cup final. And what a game that was. Roughriders 9-5, 5-2 at home. I am on the Roughriders -2.5 and -105. We'll take a look at the market movement here in this one quickly. Let me pull it up. Move this over, and here we go. This is what we are looking at in Ticats Roughriders. I do know that it opened at Bet365 at 1.5, although it's taking a second to get there. Here we go. Open, excuse me. Oh, yes, at 1.5. So Ticats are 1.5 point dogs. They moved to 1, back to 1.5, 2, 2.5, and now it's at 2. So I did get in on the 2.5, unfortunately. I think 2 and 2.5 is not a big difference. I hope that doesn't come back to cost me. But I am on the 2.5 here. I do think the Ticats are a better team and a better future bet. In saying that all, not week 1 in Saskatchewan at Mosaic when it's just going to be a madhouse. This total opened up at 43. On the first, it moved from 43.5 to 47. So a huge move to the over. Hamilton's lost in the Grey Cup each of the last 2 seasons. This Ticats defense, excellent last year, is expected to be even better this year. And I won't talk too long about this team because you know them inside and out, but Simone Lawrence, Santos Knox, then you bring in Micah Johnson to the interior of the defensive line. Look out. Dane Evans now gets to be the unquestioned number 1 quarterback. I think that that'll be nice for him not to have to look over his shoulder all the time. And Don Jackson. So they're expecting a big year out of running back Don Jackson. Under, like Bobano was talking about, is 14-6 in the Ticats' last 20 games overall, 7-2 in their last 9. They go into week 1 without defensive back Carriel Brooks and linebacker Patrick Nelson. The Green Riders struggled offensively at times last year. A dual threat, Cody Fajardo, didn't look that good. But now he gets a full year of 2019 All-Star Shaq Evans, who's back from his broken foot. Duke Williams is also going to be there for a full year. He came in week 12 last year. And there were important departures in the offseason. We talked about William Powell already being gone. This offensive line looks to be weaker this year. And their excellent defense lost some key pieces in the offseason. And still, I'm backing them at home in week 1. Take it away, and we'll try to keep this a little tighter for these 2 Saturday games. Ticats, Rough Riders.
Yeah, I'll be brief. I'm not involved in this game, side or total, so this is a pass for me. I'd lean Saskatchewan like you, and that's unbiased as a Ticat. I'm hoping they win, but we just don't win there. We don't have success in Saskatchewan. It is a home opener. It's just, and look, I actually think we could have a better team than Saskatchewan this year, but we just have a tough time of it there in that venue. It's in that stadium. It's just been repeated. I mean, you look at every meeting the last decade, we just haven't won there. It's been difficult. So I think we might lose this one. I'll say this: Saskatchewan did lose some pieces on defense, but when I look at that secondary still with Nick Marshall and company, it's still a good secondary. Up front, they can still get a pass rush, and they brought in that linebacker Darnell Sankey from Calgary. He is one of the most improved linebackers last year in the CFL, and that's going to cushion the blow of some of the people they lost, including, as you mentioned, Micah Johnson, who they lost to my Ticats, who's now part of our defensive front. Our defense is terrific. I don't know what else there is to say about it. I think it could be an excellent Ticat defense. Yeah, it will hurt not having Carriel Brooks there, but we have a very loaded secondary. That is going to be something you want to watch out for. That is our position of strength, I think, from a depth standpoint for this Hamilton team. It's the secondary. Yeah, they're not going to have Carriel Brooks, but we have Tunde Adeleke. We have Seontae Evans, who's a veteran cornerback. We have Richard Leonard, who's a terrific DB. We've got Jamal Roll. We've got more than enough. We've got guys that have played big games in that secondary so that if one person is injured, we've got plenty of not just depth, quality depth to replace them. So I'm not worried too much about Brooks because we've just got so many other people that we can put in due to injury at that position. I like our linebacking core, of course, led by Simone, the leader. Larry Dean can still play. So, I mean, you look at it, it's definitely going to be interesting to see this Ticats team, how they go from there. Up front, the defensive line. Yeah, we lose Jagera Davis, of course, to the Argos of all teams. Same with Brandon Banks. I won't go there. But Julian Hauser is a guy you want to watch out for. He's going to be the guy that's going to take over a lot of the pass rushing responsibility, and I think he's capable of doing it. He's ready. I thought he got better and better and better as the season went on. He's cost effective, obviously. You would have had to pay Jagera Davis a good amount of money to keep him. It's a little bit better to keep Hauser because it's cheaper, and he's ready, I think, to be a big-time impact starting defensive end here in the CFL. So I like the defense. Dane Evans is great. He's going to have a great season, but still, it's never easy to execute an offense going on the road in Saskatchewan, especially for their home opener. So I just think it'll be a close game, I think, but Saskatchewan will pull it out like a 4, 5, 6, 7-point win type of deal. Saskatchewan will, I think, find a way to win. And this is the one game I would push back on all the movement toward the over. Because I do think both defenses, it's been an under-trending series history as well between the Ticats and Riders. For the most part, it's been one under after another. And I think this could be the game that ends up being the lowest scoring game in week 1.
Great breakdown. I am on it. I'm on the Green Riders -2.5 and -105. You can get it at 2 now. And Bobano staying off. Let's talk about the final game here quickly. And I am wearing TCU's Casey Printers jersey here. Edmonton Elks 3-11, 3-4 on the road. The BC Lions 5-9, 2-5 at home. This opened with the Lions -3. They've moved to 3.5. The total, like all other totals, has gone up towards the over. Opened up at 46, is now up to 48. The big news in BC: Mike Riley retiring. So they're now in the hands of 24-year-old native Vancouver or Victoria, BC native Nathan Rourke. And those of you remember Nathan Rourke from the Ohio Bobcats. His brother Curtis Rourke is the quarterback there now. Nathan Rourke, although he was born in Victoria, BC, he played his football out here. He was the starting quarterback at Holy Trinity Catholic Secondary School in Oakville, Ontario. His brother was the starting quarterback there as well. And then he transferred to Edgewood Academy in Elmore, Alabama for his senior year. He's got very talented receivers in Lucky Whitehead and Brian Burnham, 1,897 yards combined, 9 touchdowns last year. So we're not sure about Delvin Breaux. He may not be in the lineup. He's listed as questionable.
He won't be. He's out.
He's out, confirmed out. Lucky Whitehead's been battling injuries too in this offseason. Nicky Arbuckle, his era in Edmonton begins here. He's going to be helped by the addition of Kenny Lawler, whom you already talked about. Lawler led the CFL in receiving yards last year with 1,014 yards. I think that Edmonton is going to be much improved. And I don't know how well Nathan Rourke is going to be right out of the gate. And so I decided to take a shot with the Elks first quarter plus a half at -115. I do think the BC Lions are a better football team overall, but the 24-year-old in game one, it won't be packed. I don't know how he's going to play. And I think that Arbuckle has a lot that he wants to show people. And so I'm on the Elks first quarter plus a half. What's your move here?
I want no part of Edmonton. None. First quarter, first half, full game. This is flat out fade team for me. This is just everything that you could be worried about going into a new season for this team. They sucked last year. Let's be honest. Offensive line's horrible. I don't think it's much better, to be honest, this year. I know Nick Arbuckle, there is some upside. I had some high hopes for him too when he left Calgary and went to Toronto, but he's been nothing but injured, nothing but damaged goods for the last couple of years. We have no indication or inclination at all. If he's number one quarterback material in this league, he's going to have a bad offensive line, I think, protecting him. I don't think that O-line's any better than it was last year. And there's a ton of new faces on it, too, because what Chris Jones did, who's now the head coach of this team, running the ship again here in Edmonton, is he basically blew up this roster in the offseason. Totally revamped on both sides of the football. The O-line's new. The defensive line's rebuilt. The linebacking core is rebuilt. The secondary's rebuilt. I mean, it is just, you're starting from scratch, it feels like, with new faces galore, learning new systems, new schemes on both sides of the ball, new coaching staff, new coordinators. And if you've listened to any player talk about playing for Chris Jones, they talk about how defensively, because defense is his background, obviously, he's been a defensive coordinator in this league for a long time. His schemes are about the most complex in the CFL in terms of learning it quickly and figuring it out quickly. So you're talking about, weeks, some people say, before we really feel comfortable playing in a defense with Chris Jones involved in the coaching end of it. So this is just everything you see in Edmonton's just red flag city, in my opinion. It's just, it's probably going to be a tough start, a rough start, in my opinion, for this team. We don't know what Arbuckle's capable of. And to make matters worse, for Edmonton, their secondary, no Aaron Grimes. He's out. And he's one of the holdovers from last year. Aaron Grimes has been on this Edmonton team for years. 51 tackles last year as a starting defensive back in 2021. That's 51 tackles out of your off your team on Saturday night due to his injury. Deron Carter, you remember Deron Carter, wide receiver for years in the league, converted now to a defensive back. He's going to try playing in the secondary, or safety, I should say. He's not going to play for Edmonton due to injury. The starting left tackle, the one guy that you really need on a bad offensive line, Tony Washington, he's not going to play. He's injured, and he's out for this game for Edmonton. So you got your starting left tackle out. You got cluster injuries in the secondary. You've got a team that's got a new coaching staff, new coordinators, new systems, new faces. Like I said, there's upwards of double digits in new players on both sides of the football for this Edmonton team. I mean, and they were the worst football team in the CFL last year. So This is a bet against team every week for me. That was my strategy coming into this year, that I'm fading Edmonton every week until they show me something good. And I don't think you're going to see anything good from them here Saturday night. Now I contrast that to BC. Bet on signs for BC. Year 2 for Rick Campbell. You do have, as the head coach, you have continuity. You have some cohesion. Do we have question marks about Nathan Rourke? Of course we do. He's the guy now. Is he ready to be a number 1 quarterback in this league? We don't know. And that is the one fear for BC. He's an unknown at this level. But what he does have is a severe compete. I heard this guy works his tail off, Rourke. Throughout training camp, he's done that. He's gotten in great shape. He's a great runner. They say he's going to use his dual threat capabilities. He can run the ball. They say his accuracy at times last year wasn't good when he got in there, but they say he's worked on that this year. I like what they're doing at receiver. They've got one of the best 1-2 punches at wide receiver, I think, in the CFL. Believe it or not, with Lucky Whitehead and Brian Burnham. I love those two guys as receivers. They're phenomenal. And I think that's going to really help out Rourke. They have O-line concerns, BC. But Edmonton didn't get a pass rush last year. They're bringing in all kinds of new faces on the D-line. So I do have some concerns about their pass protection abilities, BC. But I think they can. This is a manageable opponent to handle those concerns against. And then what else was I going to say? Oh, yes, their defense. I think it's improved. I really think their defense has improved this year. It's going to be better. I like the secondary is great. I mean, I talked about Hamilton's secondary being loaded. What about BC's secondary? I mean, Bro's not going to play here, but you still have TJ Lee, who's been around forever, is a great cornerback. Luchez Purifoy, who's terrific, in my opinion, for the Lions in the secondary. You've got a good secondary there to lock up and force Arbuckle into mistakes. And if he's going to be under the pressure from a bad O-line that I think he might be, you force him into making mistakes against what could be a ball-hawking secondary for BC. So, yeah, I like the Lions a lot here. It's probably my favorite side of week 1. I actually took minus 155, minus 160 on the money line early in the week. I think the money line's gone all the way up to minus like 190 or minus 180 now. So I wouldn't lay the money line now. I'm going to lay the 3.5 right now for this show. I mean, as an official play. Yeah, I like the Lions here a lot. And Edmonton's just bet against material for me until proven otherwise.
Well, you have certainly scared me. With my look on Arbuckle early.
I forgot the most important part of my pro BC stance. 30,000 people expected at BC Place Stadium on Saturday night. The biggest home crowd for a Lions game in 8 years expected on Saturday night. This new owner, he took over the team midway through last year, I believe. Amar Doman is his name. What he has done in a short period of time to stoke the fires of enthusiasm and interest and excitement in BC Lions football for a franchise that's been dormant, the attendance figures have been deplorable over the years for BC home games. What he's done in less than a year to get this city of Vancouver excited about the BC Lions, it's like I would have said to me, you need your head examined, Ian, if you're going to tell me that we're going to have 30,000 people at BC Place for the BC Lions home opener on Saturday night. And yet here we are. They're opening up the upper bowl. That hasn't happened in ages for a Lions home game at BC Place Stadium. So positive signs.
The city needs it. It's going to help. It will help if the Lions. I mean, when I was growing up, we sold that place out. So the city needs it. You've definitely made me uncomfortable. It's moved to 4 at Pinnacle. You can still get the 3.5 at minus 110. The money line is at minus 175. Bobano very confidently on the Lions minus 3.5 at minus 110. That's available at Bet365 right now. I'm on the Elks first quarter plus a half at minus 115. A fade of 24-year-old Nate Rourke early and believing in Arbuckle here, which could wind up hurting me. I'm on the Rough Riders minus 2.5 at minus 105. Bobano is on the over 48 tonight in Ottawa, Winnipeg BlueBombers, and I'm on the Redblacks first half plus 6. There you have it. And we need because Bobano will be with us every Friday, so we need Bobano's picture on the CFL corner for new graphics as we move forward. Hunter Engelhardt sharing his action with us. He'll be here live with us on Thursday. I'm going to pop this into the chat. Let's move on to MLB. And
you can tee me up, Jimmy. I just got to do a quick washroom break. I'll be back in 2 minutes.
Sounds good. We are running very hot in MLB. I've had a 20-unit turnaround in about 2.5 weeks. And coming off a 3-2 day myself, 117 wins, 103 losses, 53.2%, plus 4.27 units, ROI plus 1.94%, average line minus 108. Yesterday, I cashed with the Rays first 5 minus a half. I pushed the Rays full game -1. I lost badly on Oakland, Cleveland under 8.5. I lost badly on Yankees first 5 -1. I cashed Yankees full game -1.5. And Royals first 5 was a nice look, and it cashed as well. Bobano is now 42-30. He is coming off just a gorgeous Friday with us last out. I'll go over his action from last Friday, but man, he's running nice. He's now 42-30, 58.3% in MLB, plus 10.12 units, ROI plus 14.06%, average line -105. And I believe I don't. Let me just grab it up here because I did want to just touch on what happened with him. As often, it's not this glorious when we discuss our records, and there's embarrassing times and things of that nature. But right now, we are just running real nice. And let me grab Bobano's action in all of these ludicrous amount of records that I keep. So last week, he just got off rolling. He had San Francisco, Miami over 7.5 cash, Washington, Cincinnati over 9.5 cash. He doubled up on the Diamondbacks first 5 full game cash. He had doubled up on the Guardians first 5 minus a half plus 100 cash. Guardians full game cash. He lost on the Blue Jays double up, as did I last Friday. First 5 -1 and full game -1.5. He lost both of those. I was only on the full game, but I lost it. Rays team total over 3.5. He cashed. Rays first 5 minus a half cash. Chicago White Sox, Tampa Bay over 7. He cashed. He lost on the Royals first 5 plus 105. And then he cashed with the Nats first 5 plus 120. And that is a 10-3 day for Bobano. He is running very hot. Let's get to work. We do this as a team, and it is working. So let's get after it right now. We have all night action. Game 1, 7:05 p.m. Eastern. Arizona Diamondbacks 28-31, 14-15 on the road at the Philadelphia Phillies, 28-29, 15-15 at home. We're at Citizens Bank Park in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. We'll start with the weather in Philly to get this card started. It is 77 Fahrenheit, 6.3 miles per hour left to right. In the last half of the game, the weather changes and it blows in. It's not heavy, 4 to 5 miles an hour, but it does change and blows in. Let's move over to the line history in this one and where the cash lies as well here. First off, we'll do the line history in Gallen versus Gibson. Opened up with the Phillies at -130. There's been a 15-cent move towards them, although the first move was towards Gallen and the Diamondbacks, and that came 18 minutes after it was posted. It moved 5 cents in that direction. But it's come back 20 cents from then, 15 from the overall line for the Phillies. The total here opened up at 8, went up to 8.5, and it started bouncing back and forth, 8.5 to 8, 8.5 to 8. And since 8:10 this morning, it is stuck at 8.5, and it's at 8.5 right now at a pick'em. When we go over to where the cash lies, we have 6,607 tickets in. There's only one game here with full line value, that being the Chicago Cubs, interestingly enough. One game with half, and that's Jacob Junis, who I'm fading. And the rest are slivers, and Philly is a sliver here at Sports Insights. 6,607 tickets in. 77% of the tickets, 75% of cash on the Phillies. Market moving towards them. 45% of tickets, 60% of cash on the under, and it is moved to the under. I can understand why people would want to back either of these pitchers, but I'm very concerned with the way these offenses are hitting the ball right now, although it took the Diamondbacks 9 innings, not to their 9th inning, for them to get unloaded last night. Zach Gallen, 4-1, 2.40 ERA, 0.96 whip, 56 in the third, 53 Ks, 15 walks, just 4 home runs allowed. His last start was a 3-0 loss at Pittsburgh. He went 6 innings, 5 hits, 2 earned runs, 1 homer, 4 Ks, and 3 walks. Kyle Gibson on the other side, 3-2, 4.40 ERA, 1.27 whip, 52 Ks, and 57 in third. He's coming off a rough start at home versus the Angels. He went 3 1/3, allowed 6 hits, 5 earned runs, no homers, 3 Ks, 2 walks, and a 9-7 win. Diamondbacks rating 217, 700 OPS versus righties. Phillies 249, 730 OPS versus righties. Diamondbacks bullpen being bad all year, except for the back end. but the middle relief corps is poor. They have a 4.69 ERA, 1.44 whip. They've converted 17 of 24 saves. The Phillies bullpen, 3.92 ERA, 1.39 whip, converted 12 of 17 saves. I've not moved on this game. I've only moved on 2 games on this entire card at this point. I can understand looks on the under. And Bobano, take it away. Diamondbacks, Phillies.
Yeah, this is going to have to be a game that I pass on, and I don't do that very often. If you know, if you know me, there's not many games daily in MLB that I'm not involved in some form from a betting standpoint. But this is one of them. I mean, I ain't stepping in front of this Phillies freight train right now. I'm not doing it. I mean, they look like a completely revitalized, reinvigorated team since Joe Girardi got canned. They're smashing the baseball again. You look at what they've done in terms of offensive production since then. During this 7-game win streak, 6-10, 7-9, 3-10, 8. I mean, they're crushing the ball. I mean, this lineup, it's been impressive. Schwarber's been bopping. Hoskins has been hitting. Harper's doing his thing. Castellanos with a couple of big hits. Bryson Stott, what a revelation he's been. And apparently there was this pushback from Girardi before he got fired about giving some of the younger players a chance to play. And that really got a lot of the Phillies players angry. Like, we've got these great blue chip up and coming young prospects here. Why the fuck are you not playing them? You know, that they really were upset by that. And Girardi early in the year wasn't giving some of these guys like a Stott, you know, a daily, everyday lineup opportunity. Well, now he's getting it and he's making the most of it. And right now, 1 through 9, this is a very, very tough Phillies lineup to navigate. Didi Gregorius coming up too with a big hit yesterday in the win against Milwaukee, who's not in good form at the plate right now for the Phillies. They've got they clearly needed to clear the air. You know, there's no doubt. I don't think it's coincidence they've gone on this run after the managerial change. I mean, things that they clearly tuned out Girardi. They've had enough of him, and now they're playing outstanding baseball. They're a bet-on team all the way for me. I don't want to go against them. That being said, you know how I feel about Zach Gallen. I say it's better to invest in a gallon of Zach Gallen in his pitches than a gallon of gas right now at the pump. And that's exactly the way I feel. I think Gallen's a bet-on pitcher. He's had one really bad start this year against Kansas City. That's about it. But you look at the way he's pitched in his last 3 starts for the Diamondbacks. He's been solid for the most part. The last 2 starts, I should say, 2 runs in 5.2 innings against Atlanta. He shut out Pittsburgh in 2 runs in 6 innings against Pittsburgh. The last start that he had, they've got a good record with Gallen on the mound, 3-1 on the road, where he has a 2.11 ERA, 7-3 Arizona in Zach Gallen's 10 starts this year. So this is a pitcher I don't want to go against, and this is on the other side a team, Philadelphia, I don't want to go against. So it's a game I stayed off.
I can understand why you are uncomfortable moving in either direction. I am as well. Here. I worry about these offenses, and I agree with the chat that Gallen has not looked nearly as dominant as Don Mack's been saying in his last few starts. And wow, I believe it, Joe Yurgovich, talking about the great lines that getting at WinBet. TJ got no run first inning at plus 102 earlier.
I'll be honest, I'd lean over the total, and I don't know if I'll bet that for sure. 8.5. Well, it's opened 8. It's now 8.5. The total across the board. But the Phillies, that's another thing with the Phillies. They've been an over machine on this great run after the firing of Girardi. You know, all but one game has gone over the total for Philadelphia since the managerial change. They're 6-1 to the over in their last 7 games, and it's because the lineup's hitting. The bullpen is still a bit of an issue. I know they pitched a little bit better lately, but it's not like it's a bullpen that, wow, all of a sudden I really trust the Phillies bullpen. No, I don't. They pitched a little bit better lately, but I still don't trust them. You mentioned Gallen. You know, this is a tough lineup for him to face. I know he's got good numbers on the road. You can't say anything badly about a 2.17 ERA, which he's got on the road. But at the same time, there's a lineup that's feeling it right now. And Arizona's bullpen, is not exactly phenomenal by any stretch. They almost blew it against Cincinnati yesterday. So at 8.5, I would lean over the total here.
There is no move for me in this spot. Hunter Engelhardt is on the Phillies first half -0.5 for 2 units. No move for me. Or our guy Bobano. Johnny K is backing the Phillies. Let's move on to the next spot on the board. 7:05 p.m. Eastern. Chicago Cubs 23-33, 12-13 on the road at the New York Yankees 41-16, 23-7 at home. We're at Yankee Stadium in the Bronx. We will start with the weather in New York. 77 Fahrenheit at first pitch, 7.4 miles per hour out to right field. Dies down to 4.4 by the end of the game. Take a look at the line history in this one. We have Miley Severino. The Yankees open up at minus 260. They move 10 cents to minus 270, come back to minus 260. That's where they stand right now. This total opened up at 8.5, minus 115 to the over. It's moved 5 cents to minus 120. That is it. Take a look at the cash here. We have Yankees back, and this was the spot I told you on the board. Full line value, according to Sports Insights, on the Chicago Cubs. 18% of the tickets are on the Cubs, and 47% of the cash. Wow. Then you have 63% of the tickets and 62% of cash on the over. Christopher Carter says Wade Miley in primetime in New York City. No thanks. No thanks. Miley, 1-0, 3.38 ERA, 1.19 whip in 16 innings. He's looked pretty good. Always his K to walk ratio is bad, and it's bad here again. 10 K, 7 walks, but he hasn't allowed a home run in his 16 innings. Coming off a 5-4 win at home versus the Diamondbacks, he went 6 strong. Quality start, 6 hits, 3 earned runs, 3 Ks, and 2 walks. Going up against Luis Severino, who's been very good this year and coming off a great start at home versus the Tigers. He went 7 innings and allowed just 1 hit with 10 Ks and 1 walk, 2.95 ERA, and 1.00 whip on the season. The Cubs are hitting 243, 713 OPS versus righties, while the Yankees versus lefties are raking 240, 741 OPS. Cubs bullpen 3.96 ERA, 1.26 whip, converted just 13 of 23 saves. Can't be trusted. The Yankees bullpen very strong, 3.02 ERA, 1.16 whip, converted 21 of 29 save opportunities. Take it away here, Bobano. Cubs, Yankees.
Yeah, another, I don't want to say overlean, but more specifically Yankees team total, which is over. I'm probably gonna end up taking that. Let me see what specifically we've. Yeah, this is Miley's first start, in weeks. He's had that strained shoulder issue, and now he's going to be back. And not only is he back from a long layoff, but it's a shoulder issue. How can you truly trust, Wade Miley to pitch well against obviously a lineup that we saw it last night? No lead is safe right now against the New York Yankees. The Minnesota Twins found that out last night. The Yankees down 7-3. Yankees battle all the way back, and they win that game by a score of 10-7 in that one. I mean, their offense is just outstanding. I mean, there's a big reason why they're 41-16 is they're absolutely destroying the baseball offensively. You look at during the win streak, 9, 6, 13. They've had a 5 spot. They had 10. They had 10 last night against the Twins. I don't know how they got shut down by, of all people, Chris Archer. I mean, that's an anomaly. They got 1 run in that game. I was shocked by it because Chris Archer's not exactly bet on material in my mind. But sometimes you have a game like that where you don't have that big hit. You get bamboozled a little bit, and Archer did that against the Yankees. But overall, this is a team I trust them to hit, and I certainly trust them to hit Wade Miley, coming off an injury to his shoulder and 3 weeks since he's pitched last. I don't expect him to be all that sharp here going into this start and against the Yankees here. So it's a question of what the Cubs do against Severino, because as you mentioned, Jimmy, he's been very good, Luis Severino, this year. We said that if this guy's healthy, he can be a pretty good pitcher, and he has shown us that here overall this year. 2.95 ERA. He's been even better than that in the last 3 starts, a 1.77 ERA coming into this outing here for Severino going into this one. I'd lean to the run line as well with the Yankees, but I always prefer the team total for the Yankees, especially tonight, because the bullpen did have to use a shit ton of arms after that shocking debacle, if you will, from Garrett Cole last night. I mean, that was jarring to see him give up not 1, not 2, but 3 consecutive home runs in the first inning, and then he got bombed after that. Second inning wasn't any better for him, and he was out of there quickly. It was just an unbelievably bad outing for Cole, who had been lights out going into last night, and as a result, the bullpen had to use a lot of arms. So that's why I gravitate from the run line toward the team total. That way I don't have to worry about the Yankees bullpen. They might be depleted. They might be down a couple of key arms in that bullpen tonight. So I'm going to go with the Yankees team total over 4.5, -130 at Pinnacle. That will be my first official play in MLB tonight.
Yankees team total over 4.5. Was that -135?
-130.
-130. Yankees team total for Bobano. And Severino also, at home, he's 3-0 with a 2.48 ERA, opponents hitting 200 against him. In 22 and the third innings on the road, not quite as strong. 10 runs, 9 of which have been earned, 3.63 ERA, and 4 home runs in those 22 and the third, with 7 walks as well. He's not as quite lights out on the road, but at home, he's been so good. And his last start at home, 7 innings, 10 Ks, as we talked about. So in the Bronx, Severino takes care of business, but you can't help but notice this huge move. I guess it's not a huge move. We've seen no move towards the Yankees and this huge amount of tickets of cash, I should say, on the Cubs. So I'm going to stay off of that and trust that some models and sharps think there's an enormous value on the Cubs, and they're going to move in that direction. I'm going to stay off. All right, let's keep rolling here. God, this is annoying me. Okay, let's keep rolling here.
By the way, Cubs bullpen almost a 5 ERA in the last 10 games. So another reason I like the team total. Yankees could pile on late as well.
I hear you. Joe Yurkovich on the Yankees run line. Christopher Carter says 4.5, no problem. Cash by the 5th. A lot of people liking it. Lucas Ryan saying he's hammering the Yankees team total over. So a lot of people with you on this spot. Justin Bibble says I have that team total at -170. Wow, let's see what I have it at 365.
That's very flattering and humbling. Son Dizzle's comment. I could listen to Bobano read the phone book. That voice needs to be on. That's very nice. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. I have nothing on Dan Shulman, though. I always say that. People say I've got this brilliant, booming, beautiful sounding voice. I have absolutely jack shit on Dan Shulman. That man has a wonderful voice.
He does. It is -170 at Bet365. Alex G is over 4.5 to -155. You can just make the 5. North Ender saying Tampa Bay up to -200. Wow, because even this morning at 8 in the morning, I was like, how is the line not moving towards the Lightning? So nice call. I'm happy to hear that. Joe Yerger said you sold me on the team total as well. So if I were you, I would. If I were you guys, if you can use the 4.5 and the 5.5, then build yourself a 5. All right, let's move on. I almost moved on the under 4.5 at -120, and I just could hear Viper in my ear saying, "You're gonna take an under with Fetty? It's Fade Fetty Day." That's what I could just imagine. That was my alarm clock this morning. Milwaukee Brewers 33-26, 18-14 on the road at the Washington Nationals, 21-38, 9-18 home. I also was like, well, in my head, I was like, well, Fetty's numbers at home are pretty good. They're not. They're worse at home than they are on the road. Aaron Ashby going up against Eric Fetty. Ashby 1-4, 3.13 ERA, 1.28 WHIP, 46 innings, 60 Ks, 22 walks, and 4 home runs. He's been very good this year, and I trust him. Last out, 6 innings, 6 hits, 4 earned runs, 1 homer, 9 Ks, no walks, no 4-0 loss at home versus the Padres, but the Padres hit lefties hard. Fetty, last start, 4 2/3, 7 hits, 4 earned runs, no homers, 1 K, 2 walks, and a 10-8 loss at the Reds. He's 3-4 on the year with a 4.88 ERA, 1.57 WHIP, 51 2/3, 43 Ks, 25 walks, 6 home runs allowed. Brewers are hitting 237, 725 versus righties. That number is starting to drop. I don't know how it got up so quickly. I really don't when I look at this lineup. I think that they'll finish the season with a 700 OPS against righties. Nats versus lefties, just 255, 670. Brewers bullpen 3.84 ERA, 1.24 WHIP. We'd expect better numbers from them. 23 of 31 converted saves. Nats bullpen 4.53 ERA, 1.39 WHIP, have converted 9 of 14 saves. Take it away here. Oh, first off, before I say that, let me give everybody the weather and the line movements here. The weather for this spot in Washington. What the hell is the... here we go. 77 Fahrenheit, 4.8 miles per hour. It is right to left, but slightly in. And then it becomes, fully in by the final hour of the ball game. Line history. In this one, we have the Brew Crew opening up at minus 155. There's been a 25-cent move towards them. They're now minus 180. So fade Fetty Day for Viper MB in full effect. This total opened up at 8.5 and moved to 8. Moved to 8. And I looked and it was 4.5 and minus 120. There has been a 5-cent move to the over since it's moved to 8, since I saw that. And let's just see if that 4.5 is still just staring at me at minus 120. Here at minus 120. It's still sitting there minus 120 to the under 4.5. And when we take a look at the cash flow for this one, sorry, let me just move that here. We take a look at the money. We have 4,968 tickets in. They give slight line value to the Washington Nationals. 11% of the tickets are on the Nats and 8% of the cash. 45% of the tickets and 66% of cash on the under. And I still kind of like the under first 5. I don't want to have anything to do with this Nats bullpen. Take it away, Bobano. Brewers, Nationals.
It's tricky. If it's going to be, I see 8s at 8. I'm kind of looking at the over, kind of, because I trust Washington against lefties. I do. I like Washington against lefties. I've liked Washington against lefties for years. We know that the last couple of seasons, the Nationals have had very good success hitting southpaws, hitting left-handed pitchers, and I think you're a little bit more bombastic about Mr. Ashby than I am here. I know he's been, he's had a couple of really good starts against the Padres and Cubs, but it's the last time he struggled a little bit against the Padres. He got mashed by Atlanta. On the road, we'll see how he does here. 3.31 ERA. His numbers do go up a little bit away from home, and now he does face, like I said, a team in Washington that last season they hit lefties well. 2 years ago they hit lefties well, and after a slow start this year, they're starting to hit lefties well again. The Nationals in recent starts, last 10. 5.3 runs per game, 263 team average against lefties. That's definitely better splits for the Washington Nationals, how they do against lefty pitching compared to righties. I don't trust Fetty. I know that. He's been fade Fetty is right. You're absolutely right about that. Now, there are some concerns for the Nationals. Nelson Cruz is banged up, the DH. He wasn't in the lineup the last game. We'll see if he's able to come back for the Nationals here tonight. And look, Milwaukee, Colton Wong is on the IL right now. Their lineup's kind of gone down hill a little bit the last few games. I mean, you look at the Brewers during this bad skid that they're on. They've now lost 6 in a row. They lost 3 or 4 at home to San Diego. They got swept by Philly just now, although red hot Philly since the managerial change. But nevertheless, they're not playing good ball. They haven't exactly been hitting. They got shut out twice in a row by the Padres. They did put up 4 in the next start, 2-0-3 after that. So that's what's got me hesitant here, because I want to fade Fetty, but the Brewers lineup's ice cold. I want to trust the Nationals against a lefty pitcher because I know they've hit lefties pretty well. So for me, I want to look at the over. I lean strong to the over. I haven't pulled the trigger on it just yet, but at 8, I'm very, very tempted on it. This is one of those games where I'm going to sit back. I'm going to wait to see where the line goes. Maybe by the end of I might end it. I might add the over by the end of the show. Right now, it's just a lean for me, but I lean over the total.
Well, I love the breakdown because it has me now moving on the first 5 under 4.5 at minus 120. If the Brewers with 9 runs in their last 6 games, then
it's almost like you dare them, right? Dare them to step up offensively because they have not done that during this losing streak.
Exactly. And Fetty was the reason why I wasn't moving on this under 4.5. Because you're right. I am high on Ashby. And I don't like what I've seen. The Nats have shown no power against lefties this year. And I am now moving on the first 5 under 4.5. Joe Yerger says looks like Nats plus 160 is a good bet. Interesting.
I sure as hell am not laying minus 180 on the road with Milwaukee with the way they're playing right now. But again, I'm not a Fetty guy, so I understand the price in Washington's tempting, but with this guy on the mound, I don't know.
All right, my guy Dom Mago, great capper. Follow him on Twitter. Is on France. Is that? I guess that's Austria. I'm guessing because it could be Australia, but I think it's Austria. France versus Austria over 2.5 for Don Mago. HD Tube in the house. We got Officer 50 Yashela, aka Robert Cherry, rolling with us. Armchair MMA. Hope you had a great birthday yesterday. We were all thinking about you. And also shout out to our guy Johnny Gilpatrick. 2 great cappers sharing their birthdays yesterday. Hope you guys each had a great time. Armchair said, could you guys see a no-run first inning? I do not trust Fetty, even though the Brewers off. I would prefer the first 5 under 4.5.
Yeah, when Rowdy Tellez is the former Blue Jay is one of your best hitters right now, with all due respect to Rowdy Tellez, you got problems.
We roll on. So that's my first edition on the card. 7:10 p.m. Eastern. Oakland Athletics 20-39, 13-16 on the road to the Cleveland Guardians, 27-26, 14-9 at home. Rodney Barnes says Ashby over 5Ks. The Brewers lineup has also smashed Fetty. Officer 50 Ayasha says Washington, Milwaukee, Jimmy. Brewers are at home. No, the Nationals are the home squads. The Nationals Park in Washington, D.C. Okay, let's talk Guardians baseball. Progressive Field in Cleveland, Ohio. We are going to start with the weather here in this one. We have 72 Fahrenheit at first pitch and no wind at all. 2.2 miles an hour to start it. It goes up to 4.8 miles per hour. And Sun Dizzle said that he celebrated last night in Armchair's honor. I love having Sun Dizzle in the chat. I hope I know some of you got to party with him and hang out with him in San Antonio, but he's great people. Yeah. Don Max says, I've been on the Fade Blackburn train last 2 times out. Says it couldn't last. Coming off an 8-0 loss at home versus the Red Sox, he was by far the guy was could have been up for a Cy Young after his first few starts. That's how good he looked.
Most profitable pitcher in MLB. He was.
Looked great. He looked absolutely great. And things have changed a little bit. Last out at home versus Red Sox, 4 innings, 7 hits, 4 earned runs, 0 homers, 3 Ks, 2 walks in an 8-0 loss at home. My first instinct, because I'm a big Tristan McKenzie fan, was, the under sounds appealing here. And the market and the cash was heavy on the over. We'll see what it is right now, though. It opened up at 7.5. First move was to the over. Happened 19 minutes after the line was dropped from 7.5 to 8. Then it went back to 7.5. It was at 7.5 until this morning when it came back to 8. And since it came to 8, there's been a 5-cent move to the under. So the market hasn't moved drastically to the over. It has moved to the over. It was all the cash was on the over. 4,425 tickets in. Now it's come back a little bit as there's the sample size is growing. But 38% of the tickets, 60% of the cash on Blackburn and the A's. And then 44% of the tickets and 81% of cash on the over. Big Ragoo says the Cleveland Bats get him today. Don Mack, Guardians team total over 4.5 at plus money. Ronnie and Bergia says, my poor A's can't trust their bullpen no matter how good the starting pitcher does. Saturated has a PSA for us. He says Oakland equals dumpster juice. Tristan McKenzie, 3-5, 3.10 ERA, 0.86 whip, 58 innings, 49 K, 16 walks, 9 home runs. His last start, he went 7 innings, 3 hits, 5 earned runs, 3 home runs allowed, 4 K, 3 walks, and a 5-4 loss at Baltimore. The A's are the worst in the league versus righties, 206, 579 OPS. Guardians are 256, 731 OPS. A's bullpen bad and looked bad yesterday. 4.53 ERA, 1.43 whip, converted 13 of 22 save opportunities. The Guardians bullpen has been amazing. I mean, the Guardians bullpen and the Astros bullpen are pitching at such an elite level right now. Guardians bullpen 2.87 ERA, 1.07 whip, have converted 11 of 15 save opportunities. Mike M says McKenzie's first home spot after 4 roadies. Oakland only wins for Blackburn. Might be worth a shot for Oakland. Shout out to Williams Wrestling in the house. Maxwell says McKenzie is allowing a 183 average versus the A's. Big Roo says A's can't get it their own way. Arobares says umpires 3-7 to the under. And let's hear. And Jake Burns going back to the well with the Guardians run line. And AM says the Guardians are a scary team at home. They can hit against the shift. Let's hear what Bobano has to say. Interesting spot. A's, Guardians.
Yeah, it's amazing. Paul Blackburn, who most profitable pitcher, and I was backing him a couple of times, but for years he had been struggling, and he had been a bet against pitcher, and look, he's back to struggling again the last 2 starts, which means, and we're going to do it right here now on the Betting with the Bank show, we got to bring back the old Blackburn song. Little karaoke moment coming up here for Ian, courtesy of the Beatles. Blackburn shitting on a summer night. Take that rubber now and learn to pitch. All your life, we were only waiting for those home runs to arrive. There we go.
Oh,
Paul
man.
Blackburn.
Encore! Bravo!
There it is. Bravo. And those home runs have arrived. If you look at his last 2 starts, look, the hard hit contact is up. He's getting, 7 hits now in the last two starts, 8 runs, 12 hits allowed by Blackburn in 10.2 innings. So look, he's definitely regressed. I'm sure a lot of people pointed to that, that he was going to have some regression at some point, and it's been that way. That being said, I look at the road numbers, 1.14 ERA. Now, those last 2 starts were in Oakland. He has been dominant at home. But again, he's now starting to backtrack. Is that backtrack and that downturn for Blackburn going to carry over to tonight on the road in Cleveland? That's the question. But entering tonight, he's got a 1.14 ERA on the road, and the A's are 6-0 in Blackburn's 6 road starts. The problem is it's hard to trust this team. They could start strong like they did last night, and the bullpen is just a complete and utter shambles right now for the Oakland Athletics. 8.02 is their bullpen ERA over the last 10 games, 4.53 bullpen ERA overall. It's just a horrendous relief corps right now. It's not a relief corps, it's an aggravating corps right now for the Oakland Athletics. It's a disastrous bullpen. I'm kind of tempted by Oakland first 5 just because of the price, because of Blackburn's road numbers. But at the same time, I'm worried because we've seen the regression hit him. And just now he's going on the road. He's not going to continue to regress. Part of me thinks it will continue. So I'm conflicted, but I do lean, because of where the price is, I do lean Oakland first 5 innings, and probably only first 5. Because I don't know how you can take this team full game right now with how shitty the bullpen is. And I have some issues with McKenzie, too. McKenzie's kind of erratic, kind of up and down. He's got all kinds of upside. But when I see a guy, Jimmy, that's now gone in his last 6 starts, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9 walks for Tristan McKenzie. 10 walks in his last 6 starts. That's a red flag. That's not good command and control by any stretch of the imagination. And that could get him in some trouble. So I might have a small play Oakland first 5. I don't know if I'm going to make it official, though.
I'm uncomfortable with this spot. You know who isn't? Another capper who's extremely hot on this show. The Big Ragu.
Congrats, Doc. Huge day yesterday. Yeah. Unbelievable.
Monster he is.
Stuff.
Yeah, I love it. It's the cappers that we're working with here on the show are just hitting at such a profitable rate that it's absolutely glorious. We just got to stick together.
He's getting mixed reviews. Some people saying bravo, some saying stick to rap music and stick to dog rate.
I can't get it out of my head. Get it out of my head. So that's a good sign.
All in good fun.
I love it. Okay, I'm off. I am off. Sun Dizzle says he loves it when Jimmy tells us who he thinks is hot. I tell you what, I think Tristan McKenzie is capable of being a number 1, and he has not shown it yet. But at times he has elite stuff. And you're right, he walks 20 batters, but I really think he's capable of being a top pitcher for these Guardians until they, pitch him 200 plus innings and run him into the ground, as they tend to do. All right, let's move on here. We have no move in A's Guardians, and Hunter says I'm a McKenzie guy too. All right, and Saturated says nowadays rappers do a little R&B too. So he says don't listen to the haters. Don't listen. You were the best 2 performers we had in San Antonio. We have were Bobano and Sun Dizzle. Sun Dizzle was hitting hard, man. He's hitting bars. Okay, let's move on. 7:10 p.m. Eastern. Toronto Blue Jays 33-23, 15-13 on the road at the Detroit Tigers. 23-33, 15-15 at home. Comerica Park in Detroit, Michigan. If I wasn't betting the Blue Jays every single day, I probably wouldn't bet them with Barrios on the mound. I did have him in the 12-3 win at home versus the Twins, but of course he steps up against his old team. That didn't surprise me. He's shown no consistency whatsoever. And there's nobody who would want him at this price. Unless you're betting the Blue Jays every single day. Then you just deal with it. And at some point, if this stops being profitable, I'll stop doing it. But it's been very profitable for me, so I'm not going to stop. Hasn't been that good over the last 5 or 6 days or so. AM says Barrios is a gas can. So I got in last night at minus 200 for the money line, minus 120 for the run line, and it was very expensive. It cost me a -161, -1. These are the highest prices I've ever paid on single bets. And again, I'm tracking it extremely closely. And I got in late. I know that Bet365 comes out about 5:04, 5:09 p.m. and I just got caught up because in the first 28 minutes it moved 20 cents from -180 to -200. That's when I got in at -200. Well, -161 on the -1 line. It's up to -220 now. So there's been a 40-cent move towards the Toronto Blue Jays. This total opened up at 8.5 and it's moved to 9. I've seen a lot of cappers on this over here. So let's take a look at the weather in Detroit. We have 75 Fahrenheit at first pitch, 6.4 miles per hour right to left, dropping down to 5.2 miles per hour. Let's take a look at the cash flow in this Blue Jays spot. 7,010 tickets in, 82% of it. So this is just like the Royal spot 2 days ago. Exactly the same. 18% of the tickets are on the Tigers and 57% of the cash. There's just, if I wasn't betting the Jays every day, there's no way I would do it. And I'm starting to track these days when I wouldn't do it. So far, it's still turned a profit, but I lost 2 days ago. And if the Tigers win today, I've got to just stop this blind betting. It's kind of, what's the right word for it? Juvenile, I guess. Probably not the perfect word, but close. 38. Oh, sorry. So we have 56% of tickets on the over and 32% of cash on the over. Barrios 4-2, 5.24 ERA. We've gone over that. His last start was very good. Elvin Rodriguez on the other side, 4 1/3, 11 hits, 10 earned runs, 4 homers, 4 Ks, 2 walks, and a 13-0 loss at the Yankees. But he's better than that. But he got tore up in his last start. Now he comes back home. Jays versus righties, 247, 733 OPS. Tigers versus righties. Thank God for the A's, or they'd be the worst in the league. Tigers are hitting 210, 583 OPS versus righties. Jays bullpen, 4.00 ERA, 1.24 whip, converted 21 of 31. Rays bullpen, 2.78 ERA, 1.09 whip. Why do I have Rays there? I don't know why I have Rays there. That's my bad. Let me just get that off. But the Tigers bullpen are those numbers. The Tigers bullpen is better than the Rays bullpen. I know those are the Tigers bullpen numbers because I do this every day. Tigers bullpen 2.78 ERA, 1.09 whip, converted 15 of 19 save opportunities. Taint is in, and we will talk about Taint here for sure. Noli No says Barrios deals a gem today. Bo Jackson says Barrios or Kikuchi, who's worse. Kikuchi's worse. But the market lets you get Kikuchi at a much better price than they give you Barrios. Take it away here, Bobano. Blue Jays Tigers.
Yeah, I like over 9 plus 105. I like it. Barrios, there's been an over machine with Barrios on the mound. Now, the last start, he was very good, as you mentioned, against the Twins, and the game still went over. They won 12-3, but before that, he struggled. Now, the thing with Barrios to watch for, 13 strikeouts, like his velocity was back up. They gave him a day off. Remember, they gave him an extra rest day. Charlie Montoyo, Pete Walker, and the Blue Jays staff, they said, we got to give him an extra day and give him a chance for because he had dead arm, the start before that when he pitched against the Angels, and you could tell he just had no pop, no zip on any of his pitches, and he was just getting crushed, in that game against the Angels. And it was obviously a lot better. He gave up, actually, it's funny, a 2-run home run in the first inning against the Twins, and he just settled in and was ripping it up after that, and was just laying him down, and ended up pitching 7 innings, 2 runs, very good. But now, when you look at it, he's back on normal rest, 5 days again. So, he's back on his normal rest. I think the extra day really helped him for that start against the Twins. But you mentioned it. What's been the one consistent about Barrios? His inconsistency. That's been the consistent. And, he's had a good start, then a couple of really bad ones. He had a terrific start, and then an okay start, then a bad start, and then he had a good start last time. So he's not necessarily one I trust against the Tigers because, remember, the Tigers have seen him a lot. Former division mate he was when he was a member of the Twins. And Barrios has a 5.28 ERA in his career against Detroit. So he's kind of struggled against this team. Elvin Rodriguez is a very interesting case study because his numbers overall aren't that bad, but he's being absolutely his ERA is basically, it's a situation where he was caught. Unfortunately, Eduardo Rodriguez, ended up tipping his pit. Now, who's starting tonight? Is it Elvin Rodriguez or Eduardo?
Elvin.
It is Elvin.
Yeah, did I make a mistake there? Let me go to RotoWire.
It's Elvin. You're right. It's Elvin because I see it's a right-hander. You're right.
Yeah.
They've got Eduardo listed. That's wrong. Yeah, it is. It's Elvin. Elvin and the Chipmunks. I'm kidding. Elvin Rodriguez here, 10 ERA, but a lot. Yeah, it is Elvin. We'll definitely confirm that. Elvin Rodriguez. Okay, so this is true what I'm about to say then. His last start was against the Yankees. He was tipping his pitches. That's why he got absolutely roughed up in that start. He was aware of it after. They're going to apparently work with him to fix that and try to be better this time around. We'll see how much of it was him tipping his pitches and how much of it was, you're facing one of the better offenses and better lineups in MLB, the Yankees, and you're facing a pretty damn good one here tonight with Toronto. So, when I look at this game, I still think we're going to see runs both ways. I missed the 8.5. Well, I did actually get 8.5, but for purposes of the show, I don't think there's any 8.5s left. It moved up to 9 this total, but you can get over 9 plus 105 at Bet Online, and I'll lock that in.
You can get plus 108 at Circa, so I'll give you that. But if you wanted the 8.5, it's available at minus 122 at Pinnacle.
Yeah, I'll do that because that's a big difference. Like 9's nice at the plus price, but to have the 8.5, knowing that if both teams get to 4, you're an automatic winner with that, I'll go the 8.5 route, minus 122.
And Nolan knows his Yankees look for pitchers, tipping pitches. Nobody does it better. Sundizzle on the Jays and the over. I am on the Jays -1, and it's very expensive. And we'll see if this stops working. Bobano's on the over 8.5 at minus 122.
Jays top 5 OPS against this year, by the way, lefties and righties. So they've done very well against both.
Saturated says the over 8.5 is at plus 106 on Rivers. Are you sure that's not the under? Okay. That's my bad. Okay. Yeah. All right. So that is, it's all good. Saturated. Thank you for, helping us look for the best price, because all of our guests who give out bets that are available right now as we speak get hurt by that in the long run. So whenever we can give them a little bit of help, we try to. Okay, we move on. Next up, 7:20 p.m. Eastern. Pittsburgh Pirates 24-31, 11-14 on the road at the Braves, 31-27, 17-14 at home at Truist Park in Atlanta, Georgia. Roansy Contreras going up against Spencer Strider and the mustache. Let's see what we are dealing with here. 82 Fahrenheit at first pitch, 4.4 miles per hour, right to left, but slightly out to left field. It becomes less slightly out, and the wind kind of dies off to 2.9 miles per hour. So not a big deal there. Let's take a look at the market moves. The money line opened at minus 225 for the Braves. There's been a 5-cent move to the Buccos, and this total opened up at 8.5, juice to the over at minus 115. It's now 8.5, juice to the under at minus 120. Contreras versus Strider. Let's see what we have here for money. 7,729 tickets in. Look at this. 29% of the tickets, 84% of the cash on the Pirates. That's strange. It's also not in yellow, so I wonder, I think this needs to be updated, but that's where it stands right now at Sports Insights. 29% of tickets, 84% of cash on Pittsburgh. 52% of tickets, 51% cash on the under, so the total is a coin flip. Contreras coming off a nice start and a 2-1 win at home versus the Diamondbacks. Contreras has nasty stuff, so maybe that is absolutely right there. But it's not in yellow, so it hasn't been updated. 5 2/3, 4 hits, 1 run, no earned runs, 8 Ks, 2 walks, and that 2-1 win at home versus the Diamondbacks. Now he heads out on the road. Strider has nice stuff too. 4 innings, 2 hits, 1 earned run, no homers, 5 Ks, 5 walks in a 6-2 extra inning win at Colorado. But he was in the thin air, and he's probably trying to be too perfect. But he kept damage down. Pirates are hitting 222, 646 OPS versus righties. Braves 237, 703 OPS versus righties. Pirates bullpen 3.98 ERA, 1.30 WHIP. Have converted 14 of 21 saves. The Braves bullpen is at 3.07 ERA, 1.15 WHIP. Have converted 19 of 30 saves. Noli No says Contreras is legit. Armchair MMA says this is my last time back in the Pirates before passing on their games. Again, I like the Pirates run line, says Armchair MMA. Let's hear what Bobano has to say. Take it away, Pirates Braves.
Yeah, I'm passing on the game, but if I had to get involved, I'd lean to the first 5 under. In this game, actually, with these two. Roansy Contreras looks very good so far. Like the Pirates might have a very promising young right-handed pitcher in this guy. He's looked very composed early on. I mean, 15.2 innings of starting pitching here at the major league level, 3 starts, and he's given up just 3 runs in those 15.2 innings. And really only 2 of them were earned. The only run that crossed the plate for Arizona against him in his last start was an unearned run. So, he's been very good. No question about that for the Pirates. Spencer Strider, I don't like what I see from his command and his control. He's got to fix that. Can't have 7 walks in 8.1 innings. You got to try to rein that in. But if he does, he actually doesn't have bad stuff. He's got some good stuff. He's got good movement in this. He's got good movement. He's got a pretty decent in terms of velocity, and he's gotten swings and misses. His swinging strike rate, I was surprised how high it is. Spencer Strider. He's got 12 strikeouts as well in his first 2 starts against Arizona and Colorado. So 12 strikeouts for Strider over 8.1 innings. That's very impressive. And the one thing about the Pirates lineup is they can be, a little bit of a free swinging lineup. They're not exactly crushing the baseball right now. You look at the last 5 games, they scored 2, they scored 3, they scored 3, 1 run in a loss to the Tigers a couple days ago. They lose the opener to the Atlanta Braves last night and only score 1 run in that game. So it's not a Pirates lineup that's breaking at the moment. So I would definitely lean to a first 5 under in this game tonight. And if you look at the last actually few games with the Atlanta Braves, first 5 under cashed last night. The first 5 under should have cashed in the second game against Oakland. It was a 4-run bottom of the 5th for Atlanta against that horrid Oakland pitching staff that blew up that first 5 under. And then the first game of that Oakland-Atlanta 2-game series was a first 5 under. So I think that's what you get here. I would look in that direction here with the first 5 under in this game, which you can get under. It looks like it is. Here we go. There we go. I was looking. There it is. It's under 4 at around even money. Yeah, under 4 even money. I would lean that way.
Interesting. I agree. I have some concern about Contreras on the road. So at home, now we're talking very small sample sizes, but he's not allowed an earned run at home. So he's now 13 2/3 throughout his season without allowing a run. On the road, though, in 9 2/3, he's allowed 5 earned runs, 2 homers. His K to walk is 8-3. Lee Davis leaning under. And you're right about Strider. I mean, 49 Ks and 32 2/3. I mean, this guy can pitch. But I have enough fear of control. Even though the Braves, there's righties are what? I mean, why should I? Maybe I shouldn't have fear. 237, 703 OPS.
By the way, these 2 pitchers, Contreras and Strider, this season combined, they've made 5 starts. Contreras 3 starts, Strider 2 starts, 5-0 to the under in those 5 games.
I thought Strider's throwing 32 innings this year. Sorry, let me just pull up Strider here. Oh, are you? Because I guess he was.
I'm talking about starts. Yeah, in Contreras starts and Strider starts. We've seen 5 of them with these 2 pitchers starting combined, 5-0 to the under in those games.
Look at the heat that Strider has coming out of the bullpen too, though. I mean, it's just guy's a strikeout machine. Wow. Okay.
That swinging strike rate, my jaw hit the floor when I saw it. When I was looking at this game with Strider, I mean, my goodness, wow, he's really getting a lot of people to miss his stuff, which means he's got good. It means he can pitch. It means he's got good pitches.
Wow, the under 4.5 first 5 is available for me at -120, and for you at Bet365. That's a nice price. I have a vividness bias of the Braves offense being stronger than this. Now it's showing that it's very strong versus lefties, but I'm in. If I can get that under 4.5 -120, I'll move on it with Strider home. I like that breakdown. Great breakdown. All right, we move on. Next up for us, we have arrived at something very special here on the show. We have arrived at the taint play of the day is the Kansas City Royals -105. What the hell's happened to Bruce Zimmerman? I swear, To start the year, he looked really good. And he had 4 starts against the Yankees. And I was like, man, this guy can pitch this year. And he's completely fallen off. And he looks so bad. And Heasley is coming off his best start, 7-4 loss at home versus the Astros, a tough team. He went 6 innings, 7 hits, 3 earned runs, 1 homer, 5 Ks, 2 walks. He has 18 walks and 15 Ks in 25 and a third, which is horrible. But Taint sees Heasley moving in the right direction. Eric Romero says, let's go Taint. Taint is in on the Kansas City Royals, minus 105. What's happening, Foxy, in our chat? I imagine it is a Friday night where you are because you're in the UK, right? Thank you for joining us. I hope you have a drink poured, and let's get that cash for my guy, Foxy. Orioles, Royals. Orioles 24 and 34, 9 and 19 on the road at the Royals, 19 and 37, 11 and 19 at home. We're at Kauffman Stadium in Kansas City, Missouri. We'll start with the weather in Missouri. See what we are dealing with. 80 Fahrenheit the first pitch, 5.6 miles per hour left to right. Then it's in. Within 45 minutes, the wind blows in for the rest of the game, but it's not heavy. 4.9, 4.2. Let's move over to the line movement in this one in Kansas City. We have the money line opening up as a pick'em. The first move was 5 cents towards the Royals. It's come back. So there's been a 5-cent move towards the Baltimore Orioles. This total opened up at 9. It was heavily juiced to the over at minus 125. And within 57 minutes, it went to 9.5. Now, since then, there's been a 5-cent move to the under. So the under 9.5 is juiced since it's got to 9.5. Let's take a look at where the cash is in this one. We have a couple of bums on the mound, and maybe one bum doesn't stink as bad. Heasley would be the man there. 41% of the tickets are on Heasley and 52% of the cash. Then you have 55% of tickets, 58% of cash on the over. And I was legitimately thinking, man, what kind of balls it would take to bet an under with Zimmerman versus Heasley. And I just thought, God, as a contrarian play, it's got to be sharp action. I was sitting there just wondering how you could make that move, but you have to trust Heasley, and you have to trust that the Royals don't hit lefties. So the Royals are hitting 232 with a 646 OPS versus lefties, while the Orioles are hitting 232, 681 OPS versus righties. But Zimmerman went up against a Guardians team that's not hitting lefties and went 5 2/3, allowed 10 hits, 5 earned runs, 1 strikeout, no walks. And he was getting Ks at the beginning of the year. Zimmerman's allowed 13 home runs and 57 1/3. Heasley, sure, he's got 18 walks, but he's only allowed 4 home runs. Now that's just in 25. Last start for Heasley was good. The Royals bullpen is atrocious, and the Orioles bullpen is really good. Orioles bullpen has allowed 1.72 runs fewer per 9 innings than the Royals bullpen. And the Orioles bullpen has converted 10 to 15 saves. Take it away here, Bobano. Orioles, Royals.
Yeah, this is an over for me. I mean, I'm not going to overthink it and talk myself in circles out of betting this because it looks clear as day to me that both of these pitchers are very hittable. They both suck. Garbage is the word that stands out when I think of both Bruce Zimmerman right now and Jonathan Heasley for that matter. I don't really think he's that much better. So rather than trust either team and either side, I would just look over the total. We've seen 4 straight Bruce Zimmerman starts go over the total, and Jimmy was not sugarcoating it. He has been horrendous. He has been horrific during these 4 starts. 9, 15, 20 runs allowed by Bruce Zimmerman over his last 20 innings. So he's basically given up a run an inning. That's absolutely horrendous. And it's not been much better for Jonathan Heasley. Heasley actually, his last 4 starts, you look, he's given up 3 runs. He's actually not been terrible, but it's not been great either, and they haven't been winning with him consistently. Baltimore's terrible on the road. I mean, if I'm going to back Baltimore, it's going to be at home. So I understand what Matty Ice is looking at with the taint play. I mean, I guess I'd lean Kansas City, but I don't want either side. I'm just going to look at runs. Bullpens have issues on both sides. We know the Kansas City bullpen's been absolutely terrible all season long. 5 ERA the last 10 games from that bullpen. 4.8 ERA overall. Actually, the Baltimore bullpen's had a nice solid year, but they've regressed a little bit. You look at the last 5 to 10 games, bullpen hasn't necessarily been as good lately for the Baltimore Orioles. So I'd lean to the Royals a little bit, but I like the over here. 9.5 is what you can get. And by the way, I got to point this out. You think these two pitchers have bad numbers. Let me start with Zimmerman. His ERA is 4.87 for the year, although it's 8 in his last 3 starts. Do you know what his xERA is? 6.14. That tells me he could even be worse. He probably should be pitching worse than he has this season, and particularly of late. How about John Heasley? He has a 4.62 ERA this year. Do you know what his FIP is? 6.38. Do you know what his xERA is? 7.00. I'll repeat for Heasley. His xERA is 7.0. 7 xERA for John Heasley. That means for as bad as these guys have pitched and as bad as their stats look right now, they actually could and should be worse, if you can believe that. So I'm not going to talk myself out of what looks like the obvious here, and that's over the total, over 9.5 here.
Well, let's lock you in, Bobano, on the over 9.5. Let's see what we can get you. We'll take a look at Pinnacle and Circa and see if we can get you something nice here. We'll start with Penny. Penny is offering you that over, and look at Bet Online to see if it's beatable. But the over 9.5 here is at plus 101, which begs the question.
And I was on the over last night with these two teams on Say Hey Plays with Jose. So let's go right back to the well, I say.
Wow. Over 9 is just minus 112.
Let's do that. Holy shit, let's do that. That's phenomenal.
That's 12 cents better than the over 9 at Circa, by the way.
Yep.
Okay, Bobano is on the over 9 at minus 112, available right now at Pinnacle. Okay, and Sun Dizzle wants in. We move on. Next up, 2 teams.
The one concern, I'll say this, one last thing. The one concern is Kansas City against lefties, Baltimore against righties, bottom third in MLB. You know, that's the one thing that does bother you a little bit about maybe betting this, but I can't ignore the bad, horrendous pitching statistics that both of these guys have.
Without a doubt, and I will be cheering you on. I do have a little bit of cold feet on the spot here, but it makes sense. And Ron Crawford in the house. Great to see you, Ronnie, my guy. MLB spreadsheet play of the day is the Boston Red Sox. Boston Red Sox, we will talk about that spot. Marco Gonzalez versus Dick Mountain. We will speak on that and give you a shout out once we arrive at that game. Thank you for sharing your hard work with us. All right, we move on. Miami Marlins at Houston Astros. If I was saying at the beginning of the year, which team do you think hits righties harder? You probably wouldn't guess the Miami Marlins, but that's the case. The Marlins are raking versus righties right now. 260 with a 755 OPS. Astros versus righties, 239, 726 OPS.
I've got the Marlins 4th in Major League Baseball OPS against righties. That's definitely not something I would have predicted.
No, and either did Derek Jeter when he was so angry with the team not signing Castellanos that he just bolted. He left. Now I wonder what he thinks. But this team is not very good still. 25-30, 10-16 on the road at the Astros, who are very good. 36-21, 15-8 at home. We will start with the line history in this one, Miami, Houston. We have the money line opening up with the Astros minus 150. Just a 5-cent move towards them. The initial move was towards the Marlins. 5 cents since the opening line. The total opened up at 8, dropped down to 7.5, went back to 8, and is back at 7.5, minus 120 to the over. Take a look at the cash flow and see if it all follows suit with what the market has done. 5,157 tickets in. 27% of the tickets, 31% of the cash on Paco Lopez and the Marlins. 45% of the tickets, 95% of the cash on the under. Wow. Oh, by the way, LJ from H-Town, our guy, giving us the Orioles 9-1-1 first 5 over in the last 11 games. Big Ragu is on the Pablo Lopez 6Ks over plus 120. Justin Bilbo, my man, thank you for joining us from Germany. Much love to you. Get that cash. Have a great weekend. And we love capping with you, my man. We love capping with you. Justin Bilbo, have a great night and a great start to your weekend. I hope it's full of cash, Justin. Pablo Lopez, 4-2, 2.18 ERA, 0.97 WHIP. Last start, 7 innings, 4 hits, 4 earned runs, 1 homer, 6 Ks, 2 walks, and a 5-4 win at home over the Giants, where he has not been dominant and lights out like Alcantara has been. Going up against Luis Garcia, 3-4, 3.07 ERA, 1.02 WHIP, 53 Ks and 55 2/3. He's been good this year. Very good this year. He has allowed 8 homers in those 55 2/3, but he's been good. His last start was at the Royals. He went 7 innings, 4 hits, 2 earned runs, 1 homer, 2 Ks, 1 walk, and a 6-0 loss. The Marlins, as we said, smash righties. Astros just 239, 726 OPS versus righties, which isn't bad. The Astros bullpen is so much better than the Marlins bullpen. That is the big difference. They allow 1.5 runs less per 9 innings. They have a whip that's 20 points better, and they have the best save conversion percentage in the major leagues. 16 of 19 saves have been converted. The Marlins only 12 of 20. Joe Yurkovich says Houston 40-17 to the under this year. That can't last. That's something that Noli has shared with us often, that Astros are the best under bet in baseball. Take it away, Bobano, Marlins, Astros.
Yeah, it's interesting what we're going to see here. Pablo Lopez got roughed up a little bit by the San Francisco. It's funny because he had a really bad inning against San Francisco, and then he actually kind of settled down after that and ended up still going 7 innings and after giving up those 4 runs. So he actually had that one little bad inning, and then he really settled in and pitched well, and he's been good at home. On the road, he's actually been surprisingly good too. I mean, that's actually kind of been an issue with some of these Marlins pitchers, that they have not been the same dominant form on the road compared to at home with some of these guys. But so far, so good for Lopez on the road. 1.41 ERA for him away from Marlins Park coming into this start. See how he fares here against the Astros. Luis Garcia's had 2 pretty good starts in a row against Seattle and Kansas City, 3 runs in his last 13 innings. He had some struggles before that, but he's definitely settled in and been a lot better in his last few starts. Miami, you look at them on the road this year overall. I mean, 10-16. Houston, terrific at home, 15-8. Part of me wants to take a shot, though, with Miami, really. I mean, I like the numbers for Lopez on the road. Garcia's okay. He's been better the last 2 starts, but, you know, he had a period there where he was going through a little bit of a tough time. Do I trust the Marlins? I should trust the Marlins against a righty, considering they're 4th in Major League Baseball in team OPS against right-handed pitching this year. You know, that should be something I trust. So I definitely have a check mark beside Miami. First 5 full game split, just as I think potential live dog here in this game. I'm going to hold off on making it official, but I lean in that direction. I think the Marlins could hang in this game. Pablo's been good on the road. I don't believe, if I'm not mistaken, I don't believe the Astros have much of a history against. No, they don't. Astros have never faced Pablo Lopez, so I'm kind of tempted here with the first 5 on the Marlins, especially. Knowing that the bullpen edges with Houston, but I'm gonna go. Let's do it, Jimmy. Let's not him and haw. Let's. I'm a high volume bettor anyway. I've said that every week. Everybody knows that. So let's go ahead with that. I think this is a shot worth taking here on this live road underdog here with the Miami Marlins. So we'll go first 5 money line Miami.
First 5 money line on the Marlins, staying away from their bullpen. That all makes sense to me. Let's see what we are dealing with for that first 5. We have the Marlins at plus 119. I think that tells a lot of the story because they're plus 137 for the game. Plus 119. Look at that. Kyle Hintley and my guy. Huge. I love that he's being rewarded for his big boy bets.
I see plus 122 at Bookmaker. So I'm going to take that first 5.
Yes, let's take that right now. I'm going to double check with Circa just to ensure that we can't beat that. And we have first 5 at Circa. Whoa, Jesus. First 5 at Circa is plus 106. All right. Bobano is locked.
Well, I always tell people, because I meet and talk to new bettors all the time, or people, it's amazing. That's why I guess when Jimmy, you've been at this for a while, there's always people that are asking questions and want to know more, want to become better at this in terms of sports betting. And my number one piece of advice to all of them is always, you've got to have at least 4 or 5 or 6 books. You have to. And this is a game, and this is a bet, Miami first 5, where it proves that crystal clear why you've got to have multiple books.
Wow. And seeing the big difference between the first 5 and the full game as well. Bobano's locked in. Marlins first 5 plus 123. We move on to 8:10 p.m. Eastern. Tampa Bay Rays 34-23, 13-10 on the road at Minnesota Twins, 33-26, 18-13 at home. I wanted to move on the Rays, but when I looked at the market, I was like, Jesus, have to stay off at this point. Huge bets coming in on Devin Smeltzer and the Minnesota Twins, which caught me by surprise. I guess you get Rasmussen out of St. Pete's. I don't know. I'll go over. We'll go over his splits and we'll do all that. But Ron Crawford says love Minnesota. It's clear that the advanced models do, and they're on Minnesota here. Let's talk about the spot. We'll open with the weather in Minnesota. We are 77 Fahrenheit at first pitch, 5.3 miles per hour to left field. Stays around there throughout the game. Then we'll move over to the line history. In this one, we have the Twins opening up at plus 105. They're now minus 120. So we have the dog to favorite situation for the Minnesota Twins. This total opened up at 8.5, and the first move was to the 8. Then we get to 8.5. Then we get to 9. It's at 9. It moved to 9 at 11:08 this morning. So interesting situation here. Rasmussen 5-2, 3.02 ERA, 1.02 WHIP, 53 2/3, 46 Ks, 14 walks, and 5 home runs. His last start was lights out. 7 innings, 3 hits, no earned runs, 2 Ks, 1 walk, and a 3-2 loss at home versus the White Sox. Smeltzer, I watched his last start, and the Jays got to him. 4 innings, 4 hits, 2 earned runs, solo shots, 1 K, 2 walks. Could have been worse. He's got a 1.93 ERA, 0.93 whip on the season. He doesn't get strikeouts, but he gets a lot of soft contact. Rays versus lefties, 223, 666 OPS. I actually had to double check that. I have a vividness bias of the Rays being able to hit lefties, and that's not the case. I have a vividness bias of the Astros being able to hit lefties. That's not the case this year. So I had to double check that. I was like, is it really that low? Twins versus righties, 258 average, 690 OPS. Rays bullpen being so good this year, as always. 3.10 ERA, 1.14 whip, converted 18 of 31. Twins bullpen, 4.03 ERA, 1.31 whip, have converted 14 of 22. And Billy Friedrich has the answer. Says Rasmussen's ERA is 5.14 on the road. Says that's the only thing I can think of. All right, let's hear what Bobano has to say. Rays, Twins. Oh, we have lost Bobano for.
There we go. No, I'm back. There we go. I hit the wrong button there. All right. So, yeah, I like over. Over the total here with the Rays and the Twins. Over 8.5 is still out there at Caesars. There is an 8.5 Caesars Sportsbook minus 125. It's one of the few books that has over the total right now of 8.5. Most of the other books have not, unless that's a let me just double check, make sure it is. But as far as I can see, I believe that's the 8.5 because it is 9 in a lot of spots. I just want to double check. But I like the over. It's official either way for me at 8.5 or 9. I think Tampa Bay can hit Smeltzer. I mean, I'm not as bullish on Smeltzer as some people. Tampa Bay, by the way, very good so far this year. Pretty solid, at least against lefties. The batting average is solid against lefties, and they really don't strike out much against lefty pitching either. And the Rays lineup, I think, can do damage here. And the Twins bullpen, you talk about that crazy series and game, especially last night with the Yankees. That Twins bullpen definitely is ravaged and could be depleted, could be shorthanded today. So there's probably opportunity for the Rays to tack on runs late as well. I think they could get on the board against Smeltzer and certainly could, like I said, add on runs against what could be a fatigued, worn down Minnesota bullpen after that crazy Yankee series, especially the game last night. And on the other side, I like Drew Rasmussen. I've backed him a few times, but a lot of it's been at home. There is definitely a little bit of a home road split, home road dichotomy starting to show up here for Drew Rasmussen. 5.14 ERA for him on the road going into this particular start tonight. And you look at what the Twins have been able to do, at the plate. Their offense has come to life. I mean, they scored 7 runs last night. That should be enough to win a game, but I think they're going to be able to do some damage. They had a great start against a great outing against Nestor Cortez at the plate. And I think you're going to see them have some success here tonight against Rasmussen, who hasn't necessarily been the same pitcher on the road. And by the way, the Twins, 5th, Jimmy, in Major League Baseball this year, OPS against righties. So that's very good for them going into this start tonight. So I'm looking at over the total here, 8.5 or 9. I think Caesars has an 8.5, but though minus 125.
And my bad, you were right, Bobano. I had the stats in the wrong spot. Rays versus lefties, 258, 690 OPS. So nice average, but no power. And I had their
like put the ball in play, they make contact, they get base hits. Yeah, they haven't hit a ton of home runs. Like I say, that power's not been there, but yeah, and they really get on base against lefties. If you look at it across the board, the Rays have terrific numbers, avoiding strikeouts and drawing walks against lefties, which is a staple of Tampa Bay Rays baseball with their lineup for years. They're very patient. For the most part, they take good at bats.
And the Twins hit righties hard. My apologies. I build my own worksheets here, as you guys know, and so I messed up very early this morning, obviously. So the Twins versus righties, 252, 743 OPS. LJ says Twins 9-2, first 5 to the over the last 11 games. And there's razor sharp picks in the house. Cash It Fridays tonight. I'll be jumping on that show. And then on Saturday, Belmont Stakes special all day, and Razor will be with us, and I can't wait for our Belmont Stakes special. Man, I'm pumped up. All right, let's move to 8:10 p.m. Eastern. Texas Rangers 26-30, 13-14 on the road at the Chicago White Sox, 26-29, 12-15 at home. We're at Guaranteed Rate Field in Chicago, Illinois. Those of you who watch the show regularly know that I'm very high on Glenn Otto, very high, and I want to back him as much as possible, but I'm concerned about this spot where he's looked good at home. His splits aren't terrible, but this White Sox team, I know, hits harder than these terrible numbers against righties. 228, 616 OPS. I mean, that's just nuts to me. Billy Friedrich says, good news is White Sox should be getting the Bulldog Lance Lynn back next week. Bad news is Jimenez is going to have to restart his rehab assignment due to leg pain. They miss Eloy badly. Billy Friedrich says Otto's splits are better on the road. Obviously, for me, I have concerns about the way the White Sox are hitting here, and they've been hitting of late. And I do not believe in the numbers, the 228, 616 OPS. We've seen their bats heat up over the last little bit. But let's pull up Otto's stats here and his splits as his numbers are here, better on the road. First, let's go to his game log for Glenn Otto. This is who they got in the Joey Gallo trade, and this is his year where he has to step up at 26 years old, and I think he will step up here. His last 2 road starts have been very good against Houston and against the Angels. Those were 2 back. He's had back-to-back home starts. He has not had a bad start in his last 4. They've been very good. You have to go back to that 11-3 loss at home versus Boston, where he allowed 8 runs to the Red Sox when they were eating. But he's been strong in 21 innings here on the road. You're right, 16 Ks, 9 walks. So I guess it's just a vividness bias I have of him on the road after 2 good starts. Maybe this is the right spot to back him here again. I was starting to lean towards the over because I don't have a ton of faith in Davis Martin. 0-2, 4.35 ERA, 1.35 whip, 8 Ks and 10 in the third, 4 walks as well. His last start was at the Rays. He went 5 in the third, 5 hits, 4 earned runs, 1 homer, just 1 strikeout and 3 walks. Neither team hits righties right now. And the White Sox bullpen's been so bad this year. The Rangers bullpen's been a nice surprise. 3.35 ERA, 1.24 whip, have converted 13 of 21. Let's go to the weather here in Chicago and start there. 67 Fahrenheit, 5.2 miles per hour, right to left, slightly in. The line history in this one, just move over here and pull this up for you guys. The line history on the money line, we have these White Sox opening up at minus 130, a 5-cent move towards the Rangers. This total opened up at 9 as a pick 'em, a 5-cent move towards the under. And then when we look at where the cash lies in this one, we have 4,476 tickets in, 41% of the tickets, 55% of the cash on the Rangers and Otto, 45% of the tickets, and 68% of the cash on the over here. Take it away, Bobano, Rangers, White Sox.
Yeah, this is you got 27 and 28 in MLB against righties, OPS here facing off against one another. So pick your poison. Who do you trust more? I'll tell you what, I'm always interested in the opponent. whenever Chicago's facing a right-handed pitcher. I mean, the difference in splits for the White Sox, hitting righties versus hitting lefties, it's incredible. I mean, this year we see the White Sox down there at 28th OPS against righties, second in MLB OPS against lefties, which we've known for a long time. The White Sox are excellent, hitting lefties. So because of the fact they're facing Glenn Otto tonight, Texas probably has a shot. Now, both of these guys, I actually think Otto does have some better stuff. Davis Martin, I don't trust. His xERA, by the way, is 5.4. It's even higher than his ERA, but I was surprised to see it's the same for Glenn Otto as well. 4.24 ERA, but his xERA is 5.88. So that concerns me. These are two pitchers based on the numbers, I shouldn't trust either one. But at the same time, you've got two lineups that are not necessarily potent against right-handed pitching, down in the bottom 5 or 6 in Major League Baseball, at least in terms of OPS. So I would still lean a little bit to Texas here because I do think Otto's got long-term a chance to be better than Martin. I don't think Martin's got much of a Major League upside. Otto, I think, at least has a little bit more. The White Sox still, you look at it, I know, they battled back, made it interesting yesterday against the LA Dodgers after falling behind big early, but they're still banged up. They're still very much a struggling team that's just 3-6 in their last 9 games. So I lean a little to your side there, Jimmy, Texas, but I'm going to probably pass.
Yeah, so it's another situation where you have a 15-cent difference in the price on the first 5 in the full game. First 5 for the Rangers at Bet365 is -110. They're +105 full game. It's interesting that would be the case because the Rangers bullpen's been so much better than the White Sox bullpen. But I think that the White Sox lineup is starting to heat up, and so there's an expectation that you give the supposed better team. Certainly haven't shown that in the White Sox. 9 innings that they become the favorite in this baseball game. So. Yeah.
I want to hit on a point that Billy Friedrich said in the chat because he mentioned White Sox first 5 tomorrow with Martin Perez on the mound. I'm at the point with the White Sox when they're facing a lefty. I don't care what that pitcher's record is. I don't really care what their ERA is. I don't care how good they've been going into that game against the White Sox. I'm going to trust the White Sox to do some damage, like I did yesterday against Tyler Anderson, for the LA Dodgers. I know he had those great numbers going into the start and took him a couple innings, but they got to him. And they ended up cracking him, and they ended up getting him out of the game early. The White Sox are that good against lefties that I know Martin Perez has had this incredible renaissance this year, and I know he's got a sub-2 ERA, I believe, going into that start tomorrow. But I'm going to trust the White Sox and their proficiency and their dominance against lefties to do damage. So I'm with you there.
Exciting. And Martin Perez is being Cy Young material. I can't believe I'm saying that out loud, but he sure has. Enough Lachon says, telling you these teams, first game after playing the Smurfs, the Dodgers, are great fades. Example, Pittsburgh. All right. Safe travels, Sun Dizzle. He's about to hop on a plane. It was great to have you joining us in the chat. And he wants Bobano on his
Thank you, Sun Dizzle. Appreciate the kind words. The voice is, I'm trying to make it better every day.
Let's move on to 8:15 p.m. Eastern. Cincinnati Reds 20-37, 8-20 on the road at the St. Louis Cardinals. Busch Stadium in St. Louis, Missouri. Let's start with the weather in St. Louis. We are sitting on, let me pull this up, 76 Fahrenheit, 6.8 miles per hour right to left. Dies down. It doesn't really die down. It's always between 5.5 and 6.8 right to left across the diamond. We'll take a look at the line history. God, it keeps doing this. I'm going to take me a second to get the line history up. So while I'm doing that, let's talk about Castillo versus Andre Palante. Castillo 2-3, 3.55 ERA, 1.12 WHIP, 34 Ks, 12 walks, 3 homers. Last start was a quality start. Actually, it wasn't because he had 4 walks. 6 1/3, 6 hits, 3 earned runs, 1 homer, 6 Ks, 4 walks, and a 5-4 loss at home versus the Nats. Palante is a 23-year-old 4th-round pick out of the University of California, and he's good. He's really good. 4 innings, 4 hits last out, 1 earned run, 2 Ks, 4 walks, and a 7-4 extra inning win at the Cubs. He's got a 1.23 ERA, but he tries to be too perfect. So he's got 14 walks and 29 1/3. That's made his whip balloon. Let's see what the line history is here in this one. Let me just move this over. For this Cards-Reds spot, we have the Cards opening up at -120, a 25-cent move towards them. From the total, it opened up at 8 juice to the over. It's now 8 juice to the under. Let's see where the money lies in this Cardinals Reds spot. We have slight line value on the Cardinals. 5,825 tickets in. 84% of the tickets, 96% of the cash is on the Cardinals. Wow. And then 62% of tickets, 96% of cash on the under. You know, that makes sense to me. These are two good pitchers, quality pitchers on the mound. TJ said, I bet the Cards minus 121 last night. What a joke of a line. Says way undervalues the loss of Stevenson. Wow, great look there, TJ. Let's hear what Bobano has to say. Reds, Cardinals.
Yeah, I'm going to jump on St. Louis first 5 full game in this one here split. How many more hits can the Reds lineup take from an injury standpoint? I mean, at some point, you know, it's like, I know Vado's still there and he's dangerous. I get that. And you still got to respect, you know, a few of the hitters that are still standing, like Tommy Pham, a veteran guy. Brandon Drury might actually be back today. Kyle Farmer. But boy, oh boy, I mean, you look at what they've suffered through. I mean, Moustakas on the IL. Jonathan India hasn't played since April, and he was supposed to be a big bat in this lineup and a big time player for them, and he will be, and he is, and he hasn't played in a while. Nick Senzel has missed the last few games with a back injury, and now the big one is Tyler Stevenson, this catcher, who looks phenomenal. He catches, he's a good receiver of the ball. He calls a good game for his pitcher, and of course he's got a great bat. He's got 31 RBIs already this year for the Reds. And now he's going to be out until at least early August, they say, with that fractured right thumb. So, you know, that's a big, huge loss for the Cincinnati Reds. There's no question. So how many more hits and injuries to this lineup and to the position players, you know, can this Reds team take? You know, that's going to end up being the question going forward. They lost the last 2 games of the Arizona series. They got shut out by Merrill Kelly and the Diamondbacks, and then they made a comeback late against the Diamondbacks, but fell short 5-4. Zach Davies ended up pitching pretty well for Arizona yesterday, and now they'll go to Luis Castillo, who, look, he's supposed to be one of the better pitchers for the Reds. He's 3.55 ERA. He's been decent, no question about that, but he's not been great, Jimmy, against the Cardinals. Remember, this is a team now that sees him a lot, playing in the same division, and Luis Castillo, the Reds are 2-4. In Castillo's last 6 starts against the Reds, or against the Cardinals. So the Reds have not necessarily been winning for Castillo on the mound against the Cardinals. And you're right about Andre Palante. He looks like he's going to be a pretty good pitcher long-term for this team. I know he struggled a little bit with his command in the start 6 days ago against the Cubs, but still only gave up 1 run on 4 hits, 4 innings. See if he can iron out that command and control. This is a depleted Reds lineup. Going into this game tonight. The price is reasonable when you consider the fact that, you know, the Reds are 20-37 and St. Louis is 32-26, and you're talking about a ravaged Cincinnati Reds team right now in terms of the lineup and the injuries that they are suffering through right now. So I'm going to go first 5 full game money line split here with St. Louis.
See a minus 141, minus 119 over at Pinnacle, and yeah, some of these guys get them. Goldschmidt just batting 250, but has 3 jacks. Tyler O'Neill doesn't. Yadier Molina is a real tough time, 138. Tommy Edman, 308. Harrison Bader, 400. Arenado, 286. Don Max says Palante still a huge question mark, in his opinion. Piker says Palante sounds like someone I wouldn't talk back to, but not sure how proven he's been as a starter. Castillo
only 8-20, by the way, the Reds on the road. So that's tough.
Huh. Okay, so a lot of people at first agreeing with the card spot there. And as I said, minus 141 and minus 119, respectively. Let's take a quick look to see if Circa can beat that.
Good call by Max. Goldschmidt has absolutely owned Castillo. There's no question. 3 homers, 9 RBIs against him. Yep.
But 250 average. I mean, but you're right. 3 jacks is nice. Let's grab this here. Oh, it's minus 148 over there. Okay, so maybe the first 5 will be better. Let's check that. First 5, minus 122. So no, it's all better at Pinnacle. So we will give you that. First 5 is minus 119. And the full game here is minus 141 for Bobano backing these St. Louis Cardinals. Okay, we move on. Next up, 9:38 p.m. Eastern. New York Mets at Los Angeles Angels. We're at Angel Stadium in Anaheim, California, and the losing ways just continue. Excuse me, and continue for these Angels. It is a sad sack situation over there. Let's take
Not
a look
last night. They finally won.
They did get the win last night. I did
Yep.
stop watching that one. So they did break the streak last night. Okay. One of the things that we've been doing now that we're in year 2 of it is not paying any attention to what happened the day before. And I know people have questioned it, but the proof is in the record being so much vastly improved for me in MLB over the last 2 years, not paying attention in momentum. Although we have talked about the 7 wins or more winning streak switching cities is just a blind fade. So the Angels do break their 14-game losing streak yesterday. 76 Fahrenheit, first pitch, 8.5 miles per hour out to straight away winner, dies down to 6 miles per hour at straight away center. Angel Stadium, we got Tyler McGill, I should say, and Jonathan Diaz. We have Jonathan Diaz, the young Venezuelan pitcher. When it comes to young Venezuelan pitchers, we bring in our Venezuelan MLB baseball capper, and that is none other than Jose Bouquet, to give us the goods on this young 23-year-old Jonathan Diaz, who has 10 Ks and 8 walks, but he's looked very tough to get the juicy
Get the
part
barrel
of
of
the
the
bat.
bat. Yep.
The barrel, I should say. Thank you. Jose Bouquet, join us, my friend. How are you?
I'm all right.
Yeah.
I can't complain. It's a cool day. What's happening tonight? Nothing cool happening.
There is a big game on the horizon.
We're not going to talk about that. That's another person. That person's not out yet.
No, that we will be talking about the NBA here shortly, but we would like to hear your breakdown on young Jonathan Diaz, the lefty for the Los Angeles Angels tonight, going up against Tyler McGill.
Well, first of all, I don't know if this is accurate, but for this sake, his name is Jonathan. Now you have to throw the Y in there. First of all,
Okay.
Not Jonathan. Jonathan. Huh?
Yeah. Come on,
Jonathan Diaz.
Thank
right?
you.
Is that the way? Okay.
Sure. I mean,
You can't even say Jonathan. It's Jonathan Diaz. Yeah.
I'll tell you. I don't know if that's what his mom calls him. But that's what we're gonna call him today because he's from Valencia, Venezuela, which is in what state, Jimmy? That's Carabobo, right? There you go, Jimmy. The state of Carabobo in Venezuela.
Thank you.
There you go. There's your history lesson. There's your little geography lesson today. He's been at
Carabobo.
the majors this year. Yeah, of course. Household name. Third largest one, by the way. Third largest state in Venezuela. He's been up twice this year. I guess 3 times, 3 starts, I should say. At the Yankees last time on the 2nd. Not a bad start. 4 innings, 4 hits, 2 earned runs there, a home run, 2 Ks, no walks. At New York, it's you're always liable to give up a home run in that little shit box. So I'm not surprised there. And then he went down, I guess. He went to the AAA. I looked at his last AAA start on the 27th. 5 innings, 4 earned runs, 4 Ks, 5 walks. I should say. I see that's backwards. 4 walks, 5 Ks. So it is a little bit of a command issue, I guess, for my man Jonathan. But I think the Angels are just kind of desperate at this point. And Ohtani won them the game yesterday by himself, legitimately by himself, pitched phenomenal, which, again, really was not a surprise because he kind of owns the Red Sox. And then, of course, down 1-0 the whole game and then hit a 2-run home run that, just blew everything up. Everything that was on the Angels then just kind of and they just kind of started doing their thing then, hitting a little bit and took advantage of the Red Sox. The Red Sox ended up not needing that game, obviously, but it was interesting to see that just Ohtani himself going in there and getting the win for the Angels. But I do not like my man Jonathan today, but I will say this. In an alternate life, this could have been me, Jimmy. This could have been me. 96th birthday. Also left-handed, my guy. So,
wow.
This could have been me. Go ahead.
Those milky tits set you back, unfortunately. And
Jimmy, every time you talk about my tits, it just makes me want to rip my shirt off and just do the rest of the show without a shirt. But that's the other person. We don't talk about that.
Please no.
I'm ready. I'm ready to pull him. And then if I see Lecce, I'm pulling them. So your breakdown of Jonathan, are you staying off of this spot then?
Well, I had a lesson on I guess it was Wednesday. I don't remember the win game, whatever it was for the Celtics, but I don't know what it is about these Celtics days that my mind just gets clouded, and I become just a horrible mess. But I'm keeping it together right now. I'm not going to move on him. Mets against lefties during the Jose split, 145 weighted runs created plus. That's not good. Or actually, that's not good for Jonathan. That's what I'm saying. I'm only thinking about my guy here because I put myself in his shoes because we are one and the same. And everyone knows if you watch Say Hey Plays earlier in the year, I love Miguel. I thought he was just going to be phenomenal this year. And I'm not going to back him here because I want to see pitchers how they come off. You know, he was throwing harder than ever, you know, pitching better than ever, all this stuff, the going Miguel ways. And then he hurts his bicep. And now we'll see. Is the velocity still there? If the velocities are still there, okay, good, great. Is the command there? And all that stuff. It all builds up to that. But I mean, I think, let me double check on the total, I guess. That would be the only way I would lean. I do think the Angels offense might have their shit together after Ohtani hit them that home run.
Been a 5-cent move to the under. This line didn't come out till 9:06 a.m. From a money line perspective, no movement with the Mets at -125. When we look at where the cash lies in this one, we have 23% of the tickets on the Angels, just 15% of the cash, no movement still, and 52% of tickets on the over, and we don't have the cash flow on it yet. And you're right, man. Tyler got hit hard. 1 in the third innings, 8 hits, 8 earned runs, 2 homers, 1 K, 1 walk, and that 8-3 loss at the Nats. And Mets numbers improving versus lefties, but still overall in the year, 241, 692 OPS. Angels 247, 23 versus righties. The Angels bullpen has struggled, and this Mets bullpen has been good, but I get uncomfortable when it's time to close out the game. They've converted 15 to 25 saves. Bobano, Mets, Angels, what are you doing here?
I'm staying off the game totally. McGill, right biceps inflammation. He's been out since the middle of May, and that's obviously his throwing arm that was affected by that. How's he going to pitch? I don't know. But he had a rehab start in Double-A. Keep that in mind. Not Triple-A, Double-A. So a couple of levels down, and he gave up like a couple of runs in 3.1 innings, and then I got to read this bullshit quote from him saying everything felt good. I don't know. You're down in Double-A, you 2 runs in 3.2 innings. That doesn't sound great to me, if you ask me. And he did get absolutely shit-rocked in that start before he landed on the IL. I remember it because I was on the Mets in that game, and he had absolutely nothing. And he was a bet-on pitcher for me much of the season up till that point. So your guess is as good as mine what we're going to get from McGill tonight. Will we get great McGill from much of the early part of the year, or is he going to look more like he did in that last start? And he's coming off that biceps issue, and its Double-A start wasn't exactly awe-inspiring, if you ask me. And then there's the fact that the Angels finally snapped the losing streak last night. And when a team snaps that kind of long losing streak, I don't like betting against them the next game. I don't. You know, because you get all of a sudden a little adrenaline, a little energy, positive vibes, a little pep in your step. You're a little bit more happier waking up and going to the ballpark today for this game if you're the Angels. And maybe that's a shot in the arm to maybe go on a run. I don't know if they're going to go on a run. I don't know if they're good enough to go on a run when you consider the injuries that they're dealing with. Mike Trout with the groin issue, although they're hoping he's back in the lineup today. Anthony Rendon on the 10-day injury list with the wrist issue.
That might be a good thing.
Which might be a good thing. Ward, of course, who had the great start, is now on the injury list as well with the hamstring problem. So,
from bad, yeah.
You know, that's the question for the Angels. Can they, you know, carry that momentum into tonight? You know, they finally snapped the losing streak. There's a little bit more energy now and throughout the clubhouse, I'm sure. I'll leave the door open for the Angels to win again tonight because I just don't know what I'm going to get out of Miguel. And I think I like Diaz a little bit. You know, he can get guys out. He hasn't been giving up a ton of hits. The command's been an issue. So I'd actually lean Angels here, but I'm going to stay off the game.
I am off as well. Jose may make an appearance during the NBA breakdown.
You know what? You slandered my name again, Jimmy. You slandered me. You're saying Salvi's your favorite Venezuelan? What the hell?
Oh, we're not talking baseball players?
No, that doesn't say baseball players. That says Venezuelans right there.
You're right. You're right.
Damn,
You're right.
Jimmy.
Everybody who knows me knows that your sister is my favorite.
Yeah,
Venezuelan.
she better be, damn it.
No, I respect
She better
that.
be. You know what? You just might have just woken up the other person.
Oh no. Don't want to get him. He was so calm. 9:40 p.m. Eastern, Colorado Rockies at San Diego Padres. Rockies 25-32, 9-16 on the road at the Padres, 35-22, 15-11 at home. We're at Petco Park in San Diego, California. 71 Fahrenheit at first pitch, 5.5 miles per hour, left to right, slightly out, and then it goes straight left to right, and it dies down. So not a big deal there from a weather perspective. When we look at the line movement in this game, the Padres opened up at minus 260. The first move was towards them, 10 cents, but since then it's been Colorado. We have a 15-cent move from the opening line, a 25-cent move from the high that the Padres were at minus 270. Then from a total perspective, it opened up at 7 and at 1 in the morning moved to 7.5. So that's where we are right now. We'll take a look at the money here in this one. And with the cash in this Padres game, you have half line value right now on Chad Kuhl, 6,695 tickets in. 13% of the tickets, 22% of the cash on the Rockies, 57% of tickets, 56% of cash on the over. That's where we are for cash-wise. Kuhl coming off that spectacular start, 3-1 extra inning loss at home versus the Braves. He went 6 innings, 5 hits, no one runs, 3 Ks, 2 walks. He's got a 3.17 ERA, 1.26 whip, and he's the best pitcher on the staff right now. And same can be said about the Padres. Joe Musgrove, best pitcher on the staff, coming off a great start, 8 innings, 1 hit, no one runs, 6 Ks, 3 walks, and a 7-0 win at the Brewers, 1.64 ERA, 0.92 whip on the year. Rockies are hitting just 249, 699 OPS versus righties. Padres are hitting just 231, 653 OPS. So both sides hit lefties much harder. Rockies bullpen 4.95 ERA, 1.44 whip. Back end's pretty good, 17-23 converted saves. Padres bullpen is so streaky. 3.85 ERA, 1.17 whip. Converted 20 of 30 saves and not to be trusted, but better than the Rockies bullpen for sure. Take it away here, Bobano. Rockies, Padres.
Definitely not fading Joe Musgrove. There's no question. But the problem is, where's the value? You're talking about minus 250. You know, you got to get creative if you're going to take the Padres. I mean, even the minus a half a run in the first 5 innings, because I do think he's a better pitcher than Kuhl. Kuhl's actually been okay. I'll give him credit. He's pitched a lot better than I thought this year. He enters this start, 3.17 ERA. His road numbers are pretty decent overall. I still think Musgrove's a lot better. And by the way, he faced the Padres last year, member of the Pittsburgh Pirates, and he got roughed up. 4 runs, only lasted 3.2 innings. He had walk issues as well, gave up a home run. Pretty ugly for Kuhl when he faced the Padres last year. But the problem here is, where's the value? I mean, how are you going to try to extricate and extract any sort of value to bet San Diego here when they're minus 250 on the money line? The first 5 run line minus a half. You got to lay $1.60, $1.70 on that. That's not great value. Maybe you can go -1, -120, first 5 innings at Pinnacle. You could do that. Obviously, the full game run line is around -115, so you could go in that direction as well. I would lean Padres first 5 -1 run line and full game -1.5 run line, but I don't know. It just seems like there's not a whole lot of value on Musgrove. The betting markets have caught up to how dominant he's been. Padres 9-1 in Musgrove's 10 starts this year.
What about the first 5 under 4? I don't care what happened in that start last year. I don't. Kuhl's just pitching so well.
He is, yeah.
His splits are nothing to be concerned about. They're completely even. And we know what Musgrove can do. Neither of these teams hit righties.
I think I kind of like that first 5 under. It makes sense. It does. I wouldn't argue with that.
And you can explain that it went from 7 to 7.5 due to the bullpens. 7 is just too low when the bullpens are so bad.
Yeah.
Right. So
you definitely want to focus your under bet on these 2 starters. There's no quite. The Colorado bullpen's been bad all year, and even the San Diego bullpen, they've had their I still have nightmares of the game they blew against Milwaukee, a week or 2 ago. And it's been up and down for their bull. And actually, you look at the bullpens, last 10 games, Colorado bullpen 4.26, which isn't good. And the Padres bullpen the last 10 games actually even worse, 4.82 bullpen ERA the last 10 starts. So yeah, if you like under, I would do what Jimmy's doing. Focus on the first 5.
First 5 under 4.5 is available to pick them right now at 4, which works with me. Let's move on to, we got 2 spots left on the board. This one, Boston Red Sox at Seattle Mariners. Red Sox 30-28, 17-14 on the road at the Seattle Mariners, 26-31, 12-10 at home. We're at T-Mobile Park in Seattle, Washington, and we have arrived at let's go. All right. That's so cool. That's so cool. Kyle Hindley said, I thought you would appreciate this. Just got back from my daughter's Special Olympics today. I told her to have fun and get that medal. She turned to me and said, listen to Jimmy and make money. Isn't that incredible? And Kyle, you've been doing that. I need to listen to you to make money.
That's awesome.
That's so cool. That's a wonderful story. Puts a big smile on my face, Kyle. Very, very, very cool. All right, let's keep rolling. Yeah, it's so funny, Kyle. I love that story. It's so cool. So cool. All right, let's keep rolling in respect and love to you, Kyle, and your family. There's Chris Smothers in the house. All right, let's roll. Spreadsheet play today is on the Boston Red Sox and Rich Hill, a.k.a. Dick Mountain on the bump. 2-3, 4.40 ERA, 1.18 whip. And one of my favorite pitchers of all time. And I wonder if he can conjure up the magic of Jamie Moyer here as he is in Seattle for this one. 6 innings, 3 hits, 1 earned run, 5 Ks, no walks in his last start. Nice one, 5-2 win at the A's. Marco Gonzalez on the other side, who can be very good at home at times. He can be so good. We have 2 lefties on the bump here. Mariners don't hit lefties. 220, 680 OPS, and both bullpens are questionable at all times. So tricky spot here in Seattle. Let's take a look at what the weather is here. 61 Fahrenheit and rain. So that means that the roof will be closed. Then we go over to the line history here. And let's move over here for Seattle, Boston. We have the money line opening up at -115 for Boston. Hasn't moved. The total at 8.5, -120 to the over. So it's a 10-cent move towards the over. And when we look at the cash and see if it follows suit here, we have 1,979 tickets in. 42% of tickets, 69% of the cash on Marco Gonzalez at home. 53% of tickets and 90% of cash on the over. So it's tricky here. Because I would initially want to move on the under, but all the money coming in on the over. Take it away here, Bobano. Red Sox, Mariners.
I'm going to do a Red Sox first 5 full game here. I'm going to trust Rich Hill here, Dick Mountain, to be able to get the job done here. The thing with the Mariners are great against fastball pitching, hitting it, and not so good against the off-speed stuff. And what are you going to get with Rich Hill? A lot of off-speed stuff. So I think actually matchup-wise, it's going to be very good for Rich Hill tonight against Seattle. And you mentioned the discrepancy in lefty hitting or hitting against lefty pitching for both of these teams, Jimmy. Seattle doesn't hit lefties very well. Boston does. You look at the Boston Red Sox right now, 6th in Major League Baseball OPS against lefties this year. And Marco Gonzalez has been a repeated fade team for me, or fade pitcher for me this year for the Mariners. Now, I know at home he's capable of being better. I don't dispute that. We know he's had some good home starts at times this year for the Mariners, but he's still someone that I don't fully trust, and he's facing a team that's hitting lefties quite well. So I'm going to end up going with the Boston Red Sox here, first 5 and full game split. I'm also going to add the over as well. I'm tempted by it, but I'm going to get in on that. Over 8.5 here in this game, even with the concerns that the Mariners have against Hill and the fact they do struggle against lefties based on their numbers. But over 8.5, -115, I'm going to add that one as well, because I think we could. And again, Seattle's bullpen has fallen backward lately. Boston's bullpen, has been up and down at times this year. So I think you could get some runs late. So we're going to go Boston. 3 bets here. Boston first 5, Boston full game, and over 8.5, -115.
And I got the -111 on the first half, -106 on the full game. And that 8.5, let me just take a look at what's offered here. -120 in Pinnacle, but you found the -115.
Caesars, yeah.
Perfect. Okay. And the 90% of the cash is coming on the over which is funny because my initial feeling was towards the under. So I'm going to stay completely off this. Last game on the card here, and that is the MLB spreadsheet play today on the Boston Red Sox. Last game on the card here is a double up spot for me. And look, Walker Buehler has not been good. And he's not getting as much movement as he has last year. A lot less movement. And a lot of talk about the sticky stuff. I still believe that Walker Buehler is an elite pitcher. He's an elite pitcher, and I love backing pitchers that I believe who are elite off a terrible start. Now, in this case, we have Buehler off 2 bad starts, who are then going on the road against a division rival. I love that angle. You go on the road against a division rival, and you better come to pitch. You better. It's so important, and this rivalry is so real between the Dodgers and the Giants. Also, I think Junis is a gas can. I don't have the numbers to prove it this year, but he was available to any team in the league for a cup of coffee in the offseason. He's been excellent this year. And he just shut down the Marlins in Miami, who've been raking righties. It's confusing what Junis is doing. But I believe in Walker Buehler. I believe in the price we're getting. I believe that he's going to wake up. I think we know the Dodgers are the best team in the league versus righties, 252, 767 OPS. And I think they're going to step up here, and it's going to be Buehler who steps up. 67 Fahrenheit at first pitch, 11.7 miles per hour, out to right center. It always stays between 10 and 11.7 miles per hour. I got the first 5 -0.5 and the full game -1. And I got great prices here. I got the -145 that it opened as part of my -1. I think it was, I'll double check, but I believe I got -114 and -115 respectively. It's now at -155, a 10-cent move to the Dodgers. The total went to 9. It moved to 9 an hour and a half ago. And cash-wise here in this Dodgers-Giants spot, 3,896 tickets in. 22% of tickets, 43% of cash on the Giants. Obviously, that scares me. 69% of tickets, 89% cash on the over. But I am trusting Walker Buehler to step up here. And I doubled up on this spot. Take it away, Bobano. Last game on the card, Dodgers-Giants.
Yeah, this is another over for me. I like both of these teams against righties. Giants are a surprising 12th. That's not bad. Upper half of Major League Baseball against righties. OPS this year. And Buehler's just not – he's not in good form at the moment. I'm hoping he turns it around for your sake, Jimmy, tonight. But the last couple starts in particular, I mean, that was Pittsburgh crushing him for 4 runs, 7 hits, 6 innings, 2 home runs allowed. The long ball has been a problem. He's been giving up home runs, Walker Buehler. Too many gopher balls lately. And then, of course, the Mets start, which was just dreadful. 5 runs. He gets knocked out in the 3rd inning. 2 home runs allowed in that start. 3 straight Walker Buehler starts have gone over the total as well. I'm with you, though, about Junis. This, I don't think, is sustainable, what he's doing. I mean, the last 2 starts, the Phillies, we caught the Phillies when they were struggling, a little bit pre-Girardi firing, and he pitched well against them. Then Miami, that was impressive. Miami, we mentioned, a shocking top 5 team in OPS against righties this year. But you're talking about a good Dodgers team here, a chance to bounce back. So I like runs in this game. So it's over 9 at even money for me, plus 100. Is what we're going to see if I can get better price than that, because Pinnacle sometimes it's my go-to. Sometimes we can get plus 103 at Pinnacle with the over 9 in this game. I do kind of agree that I think at some point Buehler's going to figure it out. He's been too good for too long to remain like struggling all year long at this rate. Tonight could be that night. So again, I'm with you. I lean with you a little bit on that first 5. On the LA Dodgers. But for me, I'm going to go over 9 plus 100. And keep in mind, too, with the Dodgers bullpen, a lot of usage in that White Sox series with the bullpen. So it could be a little bit of a depleted unit tonight in this game. So going to go with the over. And I don't hate anybody looking toward the Dodgers first 5. I mean, at some point, Buehler figures it out. We'll see if that is tonight.
I love it, Bobano. I love it. Best story, though, for sure here on the show is Kyle Hintley and with his daughter over there for the Special Olympics. So cool and wonderful. And her putting her faith in your action and watching the show is just so cool. Respect, Kyle, and love to you and your fam. All right, let's do one more review of all action here from Bobano, who's been rolling with us for 2 hours and 39 minutes. So let's go over everything here. And then we get into NBA. I'm on the Redblacks first half +6. Let's move to 4.5. The first half bet. But this morning I got a +6 at -110. Bobano's on the over 48 at -110. And Redblacks, Winnipeg Blue Bombers. That goes off tonight. Tomorrow, I'm on the Rough Riders -2.5 and -105. And I can tell it's a good look because Bobano's off that game because he's not going to bet against his boys in the first game of the year. So I feel like this is a good look on the Rough Riders, although it has moved to 2. Then Bobano is bullish on the Lions -3.5, -110. And I'm fading Rourke in the first quarter, the 24-year-old. Maybe that's a big mistake. I'm on the first quarter +0.5, -115. And Bobano wanting to fade the Elks in every situation. And the stare down of Chris Jones he's got the scariest look in the entire, like when he's walking up and down the sidelines, you're ready to go. And so that's my belief, is just the Elks are going to be ready to go right off the hop. And then if the Lions start making adjustments that, as Bobano talked about, not being comfortable with Chris Jones's defense, the Elks will break down. I'm a fan of Chris Jones, although his stare is has scared many football players in his days. Yes, this is Canadian Football League, Chris Smothers. So that is our action there. And so Bobano was most bullish on the Lions -3.5 of his action. That's tomorrow. Okay, so then in MLB, let's review action here quickly and then get an NBA. Hunter Engelhart is on the A's Cleveland first half, A's Guardians first half under 4. Kyle Hanley, much love, man. Thank you so much for the
$20 dono. We appreciate it. Yeah, Kyle's
what
great.
A guy.
Yeah.
What a guy. Let's get that cash, man. And Kyle Hanley going to be at the game this evening. Celtics.
Wow.
Game 4.
Enjoy, Kyle. Wow.
Finals.
Great shit.
Those tickets, you have to be succeeding in your sports gambling to afford those tickets, and Kyle doing just that. Much love to you, Kyle Henley, and you're a great guy, and we're very thankful to cap with you. Appreciate you, man. A's Cleveland Guardians first half under 4 is a 3-unit play for Hunter. Philly first half -0.5 is a 2-unit play for him. Texas Chicago White Sox first half under is a 3-unit play, and the White Sox first half -0.5 is a 2-unit play. And Hunter Engelhart will be making his season debut here on the show on Thursday. We stayed off Diamondbacks, Phillies, but Bobano moved on the Yankees team total over 4.5. And that was a -130. First 5 under 4.5 and -120. I'm going to be adding in Brewers, Washington Nationals. A's Guardians, we stayed off. Bobano's on the over 8.5 and -122, and Blue Jays Tigers. And as you guys know, I blind bet the Blue Jays every day at -1, but I got to be quicker on the hop. It comes out at 5:04, between 5:04 and 5:09 p.m., and I got to be ready to bet it immediately because it just gets pounded immediately as soon as it comes out. The under 4.5, first 5 under 4.5 and -120 in Pirates Braves. Roansy, Contreras, Spencer Strider. I'll be adding to my card. Bobano's on the over 9 at -112, and Orioles, Royals, and Taint play of the day is the Royals at -105. Bobano's on the Marlins first 5 at +123. That's Pablo Lopez. He's backing Pablo Lopez at the Astros. Rays, Twins, we have stayed off. I'm going to move on the first 5 Rangers with Glenn Otto. I like him very much. Bobano doubled up on the cards. First 5 and full game. Piker, wrong hole play today. LA Angels +115. And I'm going to add the first 5 under 4 in Colorado, San Diego. And we close up shop. I guess we don't close up shop. Sorry. Boston Red Sox, first half -111. Full game -106. And the over 8.5 for Bobano. And Ron Crawford spreadsheet play today is Boston. And Bobano's on the over 9 at +103 in Dodgers, San Francisco Giants. And I am on the Dodgers first 5 -0.5 and full game -1 on the LA Dodgers. There you have it. Barbecue Sauce City play today, UEFA Nations League, Denmark team total over 1.5 right there. Let's go. Bobano, great work. I look forward to having a CFL on these Fridays together with you, my friend. And your baseball has been very, very good. He got off to a bad start and completely turned it around. He's now 41-21 since that bad start. Overall, he's 42-30, 58.3%, plus 10.12 units, ROI plus 14.06%, average line -105, and he's opened up his CFL account here on the show. Bobano, great work. Any last words for the capper supporting the show?
Awesome stuff. Kyle, thank you for the dono. Everyone in the chat that's here every day, including Fridays when I'm on with Jimmy, we appreciate it. Hit the like button. Make sure you do that. I'm on NBA Pub Hub later today. Ski, Dutch, and Wham with me. We'll break down Game 4 NBA Finals. Stay tuned. We've got the great analysis from Darryl coming up for Game 4 of the Finals, and we've got Teece coming up, WNBA. So we got the hoops covered coming up on the show. So everybody have a great weekend. Good luck. Cash some tickets.
There he is. Bobano here every Friday. We go right from the field, right from the diamond to the hard court. We head to NBA Finals Game 4 in Boston. My goodness. Doesn't get much bigger than this, even though it doesn't seem to be attracting the TV viewers that it should be. We are all very, very interested in this spot, and our producer is very invested in this. About to head off to the parade if it happens in Boston. But we have an expert joining us who has had a spectacular season here on the show. 101 wins, 75 losses, hitting at 57.4%, plus 20.94 units, ROI plus 11.9%, average line minus 103. He tripled up on the Warriors in Game 3, and I can't wait to hear if he's making adjustments to his action or he'll be going back to the well, and his numbers speak for himself. Please welcome to the show from Los Angeles, California. We got Darryl Rice in the house. It's Derl, baby. How are you, my man?
Yo.
Oh, no.
Fuck. No, man. Happy Friday, bro. Happy Friday to you. It is Friday, and it's Game 4. It's Game 4 here, man. Good to see you. Good to see everybody in the chat. Where's my man, Jose? Just bring him up.
It's up to him. It's up to him. We've empowered him as he is a winning capper on the show. We've given him the power to decide how he wants to handle things.
He's probably in the back just laughing like Ned Flanders. I don't know.
Maybe he joins us. Maybe he doesn't. But his skill set in capping has allowed him the autonomy to handle himself as he pleases.
I just wanted to give him his flowers, man. I am not a sore loser at all. Not at all. So I'm happy to be back, man. Watched the game with a buddy of mine. I was actually with family also, so we were taking some bets because I've got some family members who also took Boston. So I lost a lot of money. I lost a lot of money on Wednesday. But yeah, man, I'm here to bounce back. Looked at the game a couple of times just to see if I could see what really happened in that game. And I'll tell you now, I'm going back to the well. So I gave Jose his chance, but I guess maybe he wants to make for good television. But fuck Boston. Yeah, fuck Boston. So here we are. I'm telling you right now, I've made a couple of plays on Golden State. I have taken Golden State money line as well. So it just looks like one of those things, man, to where I've got to sink with the ship if it goes down. So it is definitely a must-win game. It's a must-win game, if nothing else. Like Darryl, don't do it. It's already done, man. The damage is done, bro. So yeah, I got to stick to my guns on this one. I believe it's a bounce back game that they got to win. So yeah, man. Yeah.
Never fear. No fear. Remember those shirts back in the day?
Yeah,
no
man.
fear from our man Darryl, going right back to the well with the Warriors.
Yeah.
Let's set the table. Still no sign of one whole bouquet. Let's set the table a little more here for Game 4.
We don't need them.
The NBA Finals. The pace is really not much of an issue in this series. We use it, the regular season, the playoffs, the series, we use it to make money. It was excellent in Game 1 when they were playing at 93 possessions a game and both shoot the lights out to easily take the under in Game 2, and that cashed very easily. But at this point, the pace doesn't really matter. They're playing at 95.17 possessions a game, and the Celtics play the whole playoffs right around that number. They were a little faster in regular season. The Warriors play a little faster generally. Boston looking to go up 3-1 after really outplaying them But we knew going in, if Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum were both on at the same time,
they were
going to win. Or it would be very hard to beat. This was the first game we saw that in game one. Tatum goes 3 for 17. In game two, Brown goes 5 for 17. So in game three, Jaylen goes for 27, Tatum goes for 26, Marcus Smart goes for 24, and Robert Williams was a bulldog down low. 8 points, 10 boards, 4 block shots, 3 steals.
Yeah.
He showed that the Celtics are extremely tough. And too tough. And we talked all year about how lucky the Warriors were to have Draymond Green on that team, because other than that, where's the toughness? We don't see the toughness except for, Draymond Green's swagger. And he's going to have to step up, because Boston had a 47-31 rebounding edge. Draymond Green got completely shut down, 2 points and 4 boards. I imagine that he's just champing at the bit to bounce back in this one. Curry continues to play very well, but there are some concerns after Horford landed on his leg. Curry went for 31 in game 3, 6 of 11 from 3-point range. He's averaging 31.3 points. He's 18 of 37 from 3, 48.6%. He's a boss, and now this will help the legend of Steph after. And he's not limping anywhere. He looks fine.
No, he's fine.
But we all saw it, and so it's exciting that this will be part of the storyline. The Golden State Warriors keep winning the third quarter like clockwork.
Right.
And Klay Thompson had his best game of the series with 25 points, which will be very, very, very important for these Warriors moving forward. So you are moving on a couple different spots here. Let's take a couple of line history in the cash, and then I will line shop for you, and we'll talk a little more as to what the angles are that you are using here to back these Warriors. So first off, we'll sit here with the spread opened up with the Warriors at +3.5. Now they're at +4. From a money line perspective, they opened up at +140. Now they're at +145. They did get up to +150 twice, but they're at +145. From a look at the total, it opened up at 214.5. It's now at 214. Not a lot of market movement. Sharp lines this time of year. When you look at where the cash is, you have 23,819 tickets in. And we talk about Sports Insights, how they'll give full line value to a couple spots on the board in baseball, maybe one or two, and some slivers. They have full line value on the Boston Celtics.
Right.
49% of the tickets are on the Celtics, so it's 50-50 with the public, but 88% of the cash is on them on the spread.
That's crazy.
The money line's a different story. 54% of the tickets are on the Warriors and 79% of the cash are on the Warriors money line. So there's a bit of a different story on the money line, but the spread's all over the Celtics. Then from a total perspective, 52% of the tickets are on the under, and 94% of cash is on the under, but we don't see it moving very much. There's the table, Derl. You are moving on 2 spots here, and they are...
Yeah. So the first thing, I got the Warriors money line at 142 at FanDuel, +142. Now, there's I rewatched this game, and I'm going to tell you why I've made this pick. And the first thing I'll say is I have to admit, man, I was just completely wrong and off on this game, on game 3, completely wrong and off, specifically in thinking about how Robert Williams would or would not play this game. So the dark horse, man, the X factor in this game is absolutely Robert Williams, and how there is no answer for him on the inside. There's absolutely no answer. This man is too big, too strong, and easy points are not that easy when he's in the paint. Rewatching that game, I saw a play specifically where it was a turnover on Boston's end. Steph grabs the board, and in a game or a normal game in which they would throw it off, full court, because the transition defense would be out of whack, Robert Williams was able to clean up and block Draymond Green. I had seen that happen on a few occasions to where Robert Williams was able to basically clean up and not give anybody any chance at the close board. So now you're talking about an outside game, which we talked about for game 3. I also saw when Robert Williams was off the court, Al Horford was in a lot of drops, which allowed Steph Curry to make shots. Allows Curry to make shots. So you're going to have to really depend on Robert Williams being in there to kind of disrupt how the offense goes. A specific play that I saw that I knew that there was no answer for the inside really was when specifically Jordan Poole had the ball, and he did this little circus shot to get Robert off, man. And that was kind of what I had seen basically was like, in order to really get in to the paint, you're going to have to do some off the wall circus shit. They tried teardrop shots. This guy was reaching at the apex of the shot to block it. Everybody thought that was a goaltend, and it wasn't. So this guy plays a huge role. And once I had seen how the Warriors defense was kind of out of whack, Draymond Green couldn't penetrate him. He just really couldn't get around him at all, man. So he couldn't get his boards. I even saw him like boxing out Kevon Looney, bro. It's just one of those things to where they had no help on the boards. And at that point, it just seemed like that defense was out of whack. You had Tank Williams making uncontested threes. You have Marcus Smart shooting threes. And all in all, you see this defense to where you would see these swings, if you will. They were swings to where it could have been a 7 or 8 point game, and it turns into a 13, 14 point game. And it was all by the mistakes that Draymond was making. They read him like a book, really, because you would see Draymond get a board and try to quickly dish it out, and it was like they clogged up the lanes. So looking at that game, you would think that these guys have no chance whatsoever, right? No chance whatsoever to even win another game. Now, if we're going to talk about the Foster effect, if that is even a real thing, you saw fouls not being called. You had Curry going for like 48 drives and only had 2 fouls. Jason Tatum went in for like 39 and was getting all the calls. Curry was in foul trouble pretty early, as they all were. And it's just one of those things, man, to where it just seemed
Darryl.
Right when I'm in the middle of my speech here, this is what we're doing. This is what we're doing, Jose. Anyways, as I was saying before I was fucking interrupted, it seems like, yeah, there is no case for Warriors to even win a game. But me personally, I do believe that the Warriors can beat Boston in Boston. You had seen those guys take the lead. There was like 8 points scored in 39 seconds. And it wasn't really the scoring. It was really just these mental mistakes the Warriors were making. If Steph isn't 100%, then this could be a Clay game here. This could be one of those games to where he shows up because he has to show up. And I do like Clay. I do like Clay a lot in this game. Not game 6 Clay, but game 4 Clay here. This is where it matters. And so I believe he does step up. So the first play that I did step on was Golden State money line. This is a must-win game for Golden State. This is a must-win game for Golden State. Warriors will come out and play. They definitely will come out and play today. But I'm also looking at Clay having a good game. Clay had 13 threes, attempts rather. Steph had 11. Clay went for 5 for 13. Steph went 6 for 11. Right. So he is getting his shots, whether they're contested or uncontested. It just seems like the trend is he's making more contested shots. You saw how really Steph Curry, man, still has a lot of attention on him. Right. And the only time he really got open is when you saw a lot of these drop coverages and missed assignments that were being missed, honestly, by Horford. Right. So I believe it's one of these things to where they're going to kind of clean up. I don't know what Dre's going to have to do, but it's not even really that he has to have a big game. He just has to contain Robert Williams. You're not going to ask him to go out there and score 10, 11 points, right? But if he is scoring, if he is passing the ball, then that does heighten the chances. Anybody that thinks that Draymond is trash and you don't need him to win the game, you most absolutely do need him to win the game because he controls a lot of the tempo of that offense. He does a lot of pick and rolls. You saw the JJ Redick details video where this dude did like 3 screens in one play to have Steph get open for just a little bit of space. It's all about spacing. So I do like the Warriors to win this game. And I'll tell you right now, if they lose this game, they've lost the series.
It'll be very difficult to come back. So I think that I agree with that. One thing.
Darryl. I cannot believe you, Darryl. Darryl, what are you doing? Why are you doing this? And the Warriors are here to play with these green bottles. We are here to play, Darryl. And the Warriors, they're so mentally rattled by a couple of fans telling them to go fuck themselves. If I was in Boston and I saw someone wearing a jersey, I told them to go fuck themselves too because they're a piece of shit right now. Celtics win this game. They win this series in 5, like I've been telling you this whole time, Darryl. I hate when my friends lose money, Darryl. And you had 50% in your hands, Darryl. You were the chosen one, Darryl. You threw it away. You went to the dark side and you threw it away. You threw away 60% and you throw it away again today. All it is, Darryl, is Celtics first half, Celtics first quarter. The Warriors will win the third quarter because that's what they do. And the Celtics win the game. That's what it is, Darryl.
No, I tell you this. This is okay, asshole. I'll tell you this. I think Celtics will be down first half. I don't know if this is a third quarter play today because the Warriors are going to be up by a lot. And the Celtics are going to have to dig themselves out of a hole come third quarter. I do believe that this is a Warriors first half play. So I did take Warriors first half as well. And I know that third quarter trend just hits. And so it should be an automatic bet. But Jose, man, I honestly did not step on the third quarter today. I did not. Because
I know Darryl's rattled. That's the most automatic bet of this series, Darryl.
Yeah, well, if that's the case, then it's like a what do you call a quadfecta? I mean, I don't know here. What it's first quarter, first half, lose your money. Third quarter and full game. Yeah, I mean, I didn't.
Darryl,
I'm telling you now, man. I'm under the conviction that Golden State will be up by halftime. That they will be up by halftime. Could be Celtics first quarter. You saw those 2 shitty ass calls, man, in the first quarter. But I'm telling you right now, the first quarter itself, that's kind of sticky because Golden State is just not a first quarter team. Even though they had been winning those first quarters, right? But I honestly believe that they can be up by the first half. And I did not step on the third quarter. Now, maybe I shouldn't just be overthinking things, right? Maybe the third quarter is just an automatic bet. I've even said it. But it's one of these things to where if it's a must-win game, then it's one of those things that they're going to be up by a lot at the half.
Darryl, did you want the Warriors first half +2 at -105 or money line +130?
Yes, sir. I'll take the -2
or +2. +2 at -105 on the Warriors. So you are on the Warriors first half +2 at -105. The Warriors money line at +150 for full game.
Absolutely.
And Jose, you've already made the money line official. Are you adding to it?
No.
You're taking the money line,
Darryl.
Why don't you just take the points, Jose?
Darryl, what have I told you for the last 2 weeks?
You don't care about the fucking points.
It is Celtics in 5 games. They won 1 game. Your third splash brother, Jordan Poole, is the most fraudulent player since Trae Young. Draymond Green cannot score. He shoots like he has a backpack on. Darryl, you know that.
Jose, have you heard me talk about Jordan Poole, though? Like, no. Why do you keep bringing up Jordan Poole's name?
Because I hate him, Darryl. Because I hate him. That's why. You want to be transparent? I hate him. And you know why? Because he stinks, and he's supposed to be their third best player, and he's nothing.
He's young.
And
you
that's
saw
fine.
Robert Williams rattled against the Miami Heat series. He's young, but this is what happens.
Rob's gonna go win a title this year. Rob on one knee is gonna go win a title. Klay Thompson can't drive around anyone, and he's gonna score 28 points today, 23 points, Darryl.
Jose, if they win tonight's game, I will completely agree with you. I will completely agree with you. If they win tonight's game, I will completely agree with you.
Okay, well, let's stake bet again. Let's run it back.
Double or nothing.
Sure. Whatever you want there. Whatever you want.
No. This is what I want here. Double the stake.
Sure.
And I want a Flying Chancla shirt.
Of course. Deal.
Okay.
No problem.
Okay. You said it here first. Air handshake.
Darryl, I'm
telling you, dog, this is, I just feel like, see, you're in that same class as Nate, bro.
Yeah.
Like, I just feel like you guys get real fucking delusional and you start trifectaing everything. And then shit hits the ceiling, right? And then it's like, okay, well, let me go back to the drawing board. Celtics trifecta again.
Of course. That's a winning strategy.
It's not that easy.
It really is, Darryl.
Look
how much you know how much capping I've done in this game, Darryl? On this series? 0. I've done 0 capping on this. I've just looked with my 2 eyes, and I know Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Marcus Smart. Better than Klay Thompson, Jordan Poole, and Wardell. That's all I need. Draymond Green's nothing. Nothing. Sweat off my ass, too. The Celtics crowd,
you're not asking for the score. This is the funny thing. Here's another play I made. I took Draymond Green over 7.5 points. So you can make that official.
All right.
You can make that official.
He's got to survive. He's got to get through the whole game first. Let's see if he can not foul out. 5 out of 2 or 3 games so far. Let's just see it. I can't.
What did you get the juice of that at?
Minus 118. So you might get a better number. Draymond over 7.5 points. I'll give you another one. Klay Thompson over 20.5 points. Make these all official.
Please.
All right. Mine as well.
Okay, and I'm also under the I don't know if it's guys, but I'm not impressed with Klay, in the series coming back, but I do think that after game 3, he's going to shoot well in game 4. That he got off of whatever yips were going on.
Yeah.
And I do think he's going to shoot well in game 4. I do, because I saw Mark Schlingberg taking the under, and I would never, trust your gut, trust your instincts, Mark.
Yeah.
Go with it. But I think he'll have another good shooting night and could have quite a good shooting night.
Yeah. Yeah. I think something will come up game 3. And I'm telling you, it's just, if they lose, they lose. But this is one of these things to where I'm not wholly convinced just yet. Wholly, WHOLLY. I'm not wholly convinced just yet, but I will be. I will be convinced if Boston goes in and wins at home that this series is over. It's definitely over at this point.
What is the juice on the over 20.5 points for Klay?
Let me look at that right now.
I have plus 105.
What a shame.
Klay Thompson. I've got it
down the drain. Come out and play, Darryl. I want to see Draymond Green take on the whole Celtics crowd.
Jose, we're going to get that line for Klay from Derl. Jose, are you adding anything officially here?
So I'm not going to, because
whoa.
He does have the money line, and he's got all the future bets on the Celtics in 5, and the Celtics win the series, so he's heavily invested.
Do I have Celtics in 5 futures? What was that price at? That's a ridiculous future.
I'll have to double check and go through old sheets. So
if that does completely happen, Celtics in 5, after I've been saying it for 2 weeks, me and Nasty Nate are gonna be rubbing elbows at that parade. So me and Seamus too. Shout out to Seamus, and Seamus. Hopefully, I'm gonna ask him after this, but hopefully he can hear his Little League stories on Monday.
I got it at minus 102. So if you
Well-
see a better line, you might. I got it at 102 for Clay Thompson points.
Jimmy, Kevin from the bar is asking if you like Boston.
I am very concerned that 90% of the cash is on the Celtics because I know how the NBA works. So I'm not betting. Look, I'm up double-digit units on the year. I've turned the whole season around when I was down 23 units and embarrassed. I'm 19 out of my last 23 bets in the NHL. I just like watching you guys go toe to toe and sit back with a drink. I got Belmont Stakes on Saturday. I'm very interested in the game. I'm making lots of money right now. I just don't feel like I need to get into this fight. And I don't want to be in the NBA. I do not want to be on a team that has 90% of the cash.
Gun to your head right now. Who are you taking
The Celtics
in this game?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes, Jimmy. Say it louder for the people in the back, please. Jimmy,
If there
say
was a
it.
gun to
Celtics
my
in
head-
5. Just say it, Jimmy.
So
It'll liberate you.
Celtics -4.
No, there's 3.5s widely available.
So it's gone down now.
Yeah. There's still
With all
4
that-
available at Bet365.
With
Right.
all that money on the Celtics and the numbers gone down.
Look, I get it. I get it. You're just saying gun to my head. I would have to take the tougher basketball team.
The better basketball team.
But what I know is that I have a very healthy fear of the NBA because the NBA has a lot of trickery and a lot of deception, and the books make a lot of money off of it.
Adam make a call today? Did Adam make a call today, Darryl? Is that what you're trying to say?
He might have, but this is a must-win game, bro. This is because then you're proving that you cannot win in Boston.
Oh,
right?
no, they can't.
So if they lose tonight's game, I'm almost forced to double up on my money at when they're back home at Golden State just to make what I've lost the last 2 nights, right?
Oh,
And then
no,
Golden State wins that game and then goes to Boston and loses. So it turns into Boston in 6 and not Golden State in 6.
At least you're sounding like a gambler. At least you're sounding like a gambler. Double down, double down, double down.
I would have to just to make that money back that I lost.
Yeah, I don't give out picks for fun, so I don't want to bet it. I'm not going to give it out on the show, and thankfully I don't have to because I got great guests like you guys battling each other and making it so exciting, and we got so many people in the chat that it means so much for. So I think of Kyle Hintley at the game tonight. I think of Nasty Nate, Cornhole Champ, and by the way, we have ordered the Cornhole board for the new house, so I'm ready.
Nice.
I'm gonna be ready to go. But I just, to me, and we keep going back to this often on the show, that I have very selfish reasons for wanting to host this show. I want to win money, and working with you guys gives me the best chance to succeed at my lifelong goals. That's why I want the show. I want to milk this shit, listen to you guys, and Pete taught us about how important it is to listen and improve. And this show makes me a better capper. And I just want to win money. All I care about is winning money.
I can't help but notice, but when you said milk, you looked right at my shoulder. Is that a correlation there?
Look, I respect that you could live in San Antonio and be so milky.
Well, this job's not outside. I can't guarantee that.
I know that for sure.
I can't guarantee that.
It's gorgeous outside. Not that I'll know.
Yeah, no, yeah. It's 101 outside. Wouldn't be me.
Oh, wow.
But Darryl, I just want to. I don't know what to say to you, Darryl. There's something that just hurts me seeing you do this. It really does. Dutch has seen the light. I saw Dutch on Twitter just say it. Celtics are a better team, bigger, faster, stronger, whatever.
Yeah.
I want you to come and see the light. I don't know if maybe it's a West Coast thing. I've heard West Coast, best coast.
But do you think that Dutch is going to be on the Celtics in Game 4?
Well, I mean, I care about Jimmy is winning this series. If they're not gonna bet him tonight, that's fine. But as you acknowledge that the Celtics are the better team and they win the series, that's okay.
If they lose tonight, Jose,
Darryl.
I come
It's
to
easy
the
to say when they're up 3-1. Come on.
If they lose tonight, it's a wrap. It's a wrap. It's absolutely a wrap.
Yeah, it'll be a wrap in 5 too. Everyone in Oracle is going to be so shocked. They're going to have to go back to their mansions in Malibu and figure out what they're going to do for the next 3 hours. And they'll be like, "Oh, right, let's just sell some stonks and make some billions of dollars." While the gritty people of Boston go out there and celebrate a parade, and my pasty ass will fit in right in with the homies in Boston. Shout out to Nasty Nate.
Yeah.
And of course,
you know what? I would say this thing.
Too.
If they lose tonight, then I'd probably just have to heal my wounds and not even play the rest of the series, to be honest.
No.
I think that would be wise.
It's one of those things. It would be the curse of Boston. As a true Lakers fan, it would be the curse of Boston.
Not the curse of Jose Bouquet.
It would be
I think I'm in your head, Darryl.
No, you know what? You might just be. You might just be, Brad.
Banner 18 just hanging there. Darryl, I have another question. I forgot you're a Lakers fan. Does it make you feel disingenuous when the Lakers count those titles from Minneapolis? Does that just hurt you a little bit and they just want to be tied with the Celtics so bad? And even when you guys do go up there and tie the Celtics in championship, the Celtics come back and build a mini dynasty right now and win another title on a team that your boy LeBron wants to go join because he can't do it by himself.
No
oh my God, the Lakers are in shambles. Oh no.
Get this guy off my screen, man. What is going on here?
Okay. The point's been made, Jose, and you're in a very confident position, and we'll see you this evening. And look, we love this. Makes for good content. Good content.
Yeah, good content.
Jose, they call me Content Jose for a reason. Let me tell you.
I just tell you this, man. I mean, you had that energy. You have every right to bring that goddamn energy this today. You know, I had to really, really think about coming on this show on Friday once they lost on Wednesday, because I was like, I gotta hear Jose, right?
Yeah.
But you best believe, dog, if they lose tonight.
Did you see the video I made?
I did.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I saw you at me on that shit. Yeah, I did. Bro, you best believe, man. I'm coming with all the smoke. Golden State wins this game tonight, bro. I promise you, dog. I'm coming with all the smoke. I'm coming with every single bit of it, dog. If they lose to Golden State tonight, which I truly believe they will.
Well, it'll be a real shame. It'll be a real shame. Darryl, I'm so confident, Darryl. I can't wait. I cannot wait. Jimmy, you know what the first thing I'm going to text you is? I'm just going to sit back and just say, Darryl. Darryl.
Please only text me with audio, though.
Yeah, audio. Okay, so just to confirm, it's 2 steaks on a flying chocolate shirt.
Yeah.
Whatever you want.
Well,
that's how confident I am.
You'll win. It'll be 0 stakes, right?
Yeah.
You know.
Well, I can just hang my hat on the Celtics winning this series no matter what happens tonight because they're the better basketball team. Jordan Poole sucks ass. And Klay Thompson is just washed up as 2 days on underwear.
Wow. So you would get 2 steaks if you win, and then I would get a flying chocolate shirt.
Exactly. Yes.
Okay. I'm with it.
All right. I respect this all. Let's review Derl's action. Warriors money line plus 150. Warriors first half plus 2 at minus 105. Draymond Green over 7.5 points at minus 118. And Klay Thompson over 20.5 points at plus 105. Derl, you're a great basketball capper and a class act. And I love having you on the show, my friend. I'll be thinking about you a lot tonight.
Bro, yeah, please pray for me.
The Celtics in 5 is going to be a great day.
I'm telling you right now, Jimmy, if I lose this, bruh, there's no shot I'm seeing 60% on this show. This is the day. This is the day right here.
Yeah.
That if I lose this day, there goes my goal of 60%. 1 or 2 more games left. I'm not going to be able to do it. So this day is the day that's writing on everything. Promise you, man. I got to win this day out, and I do believe so.
Kyle calling him stick arms. I call him heroin arms, but he does dance beautifully with them. And that was extremely enjoyable.
Yeah, man. These past 2 shows have been just absolutely nuts. Absolutely,
we love you,
nuts, bro.
We love you, Darryl. Darryl, you got very exciting action here.
Yeah.
And I'll be thinking about you this evening. And look, I know it might be boring. It's not. I'm so thankful that you guys have these really fun takes on the games because it allows me to just sit back and focus on how I can make money. And I'm really nervous seeing 90% of the cash. Oh, by the way, a 3 is on the board at Heritage.
Shut the front door.
3 is on the board.
What, real quick, did that money line go down? Did it hit the 30s yet? The 130s?
Well, it's still at 4 at Bet. Oh, it's moved to 3.5 at Bet 365. So
What's
it's moved
the
from
money?
plus 145 to plus 140.
Okay. Wow. Yeah.
Darryl,
I can make some money back today. I can.
Yeah, you
I
can.
can make some plus money back today. So
Oh no.
This guy. What is he even using? Are those Topo Chico bottles or what? Because I promise you, man, they're invisible. What the hell's going on over there? It looks like
invisible bottles.
Like Edward Scissorhands, bro. I mean, those bottles, they're making like I can hardly hear them. I mean, come on, bro. You gotta at least get like some Coke bottles or something, some thicker bottles.
This has been well thought out. Dennis says 90% of the cash is on who? It's on the Boston Celtics. It did move from 91% to 89% when we started the show. So in about 3 or 4 hours. And then here right now, as we speak, it is at 88%. Now that's on the spread.
Gotcha. Yeah, which is weird. I mean, they've been blowouts, right? So, I mean, these low numbers shouldn't scare you at all. They shouldn't. So, if you like Boston, just take the points, man. I mean, I don't see how there hasn't been a close game this series, right, Jimmy? So, that's why I was asking Jose, why even take the money line for that juice? I would just take the 4. So that's what I was looking at, just trying to get a little more value with Golden State. And I think you can, because all they got to do is win this game. It's not going to be close either way. I don't think so. Maybe that's why you're not seeing major shifts in numbers, right? So I don't know. It's just to me, and I know it's, people say that and kind of oversaturate the term, but this absolutely is a must-win game for Golden State. If they lose this game, the series is over. It's definitely over.
Oh yeah. This is going to be a fun one this evening. Darryl, my man, thank you so much for rolling with us.
You're right. Yeah, I'm sorry I said take the points, but yeah, what I meant is take the -4.
And I can only pray that we have another opportunity to see you on the screen. If that happens, that means that you have been right.
Yeah, I know, huh? The next time, hey, if that happens, that means I'm right.
Yeah. If you are wrong, this is your last show of the year.
This is my last fucking show.
See you, Darryl.
All right. I can't have Darryl go out like that if it's his last show of the year. He's been too important to our season here. I got to get him back in. I can't. You've been too important. Darryl, if this is your final hurrah, you've been spectacular this year. Your record speaks for itself, and I can't wait to do it again next year, my man. So, I hope that we get to see you again here on Betting with the Bag. But you've really made the season special. And when you got hot, my whole season turned around. We gave you the extra day, and it was just me being selfish. I wanted the capper who was putting money in my pockets on the second day. And, so I thank you, and we love you, and I can't wait to do this again next year. But if we see you again, I'll be pretty happy, man.
I hear you, man. It's been a long season, and it's a lot of work involved. Like I said, I mean, you can see the progression from when the show started until now, and it's really been me learning a lot, learning the guests, learning you, Jimmy, just really trying to fine tune this craft. I'm not always right. I'm more right than wrong, but when I tell you that I'm making plays and when I give you plays, I am putting my money there. So it's not like I'm just giving these out. Even if I might give a play, if I haven't made it yet, I will. In so much that I've really kind of stepped away from Twitter and trying to give daily plays and really concentrate more on the days I do this show to give these plays. So it's been an honor, Jimmy. It's been I am grateful, 1000% grateful just for this introduction to the platform and you linking me with so many great people. Love or hate me, man, I love each and every one of you guys, and just for the opportunity that you've given me. And if I don't see you, man, we will start again next season, and I'll be better than I am this year.
I love it. And Billy says the good news is NBA will be back in less than 4 months. There he is, Derl. What a class act and great capper. That was wild. That was the wildest NBA breakdown we've ever had. And it's not over yet. We stay on the hard court and we bring in the star of our WNBA show that can be seen right after NBA Pub Hub today. 2-0 on this show. Let's bring him on right now from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Please welcome to the show, Parlay Teece in the house. Teece, what's up, my man?
What's happening, Jimmy? Appreciate you having me on today.
Oh,
hey,
our pleasure.
I do have one thing to say. I'm trying to figure out if Jose's mom still dresses him and he kind of went off kilter because he's dressed like a 3-year-old today. Like, what kind of outfit is that, bro?
Wow. Taking
the socks, the shoes, the shirt, the shorts. I mean, nothing matches.
See, I love his style, but you could say the same thing about me most of the time. So I love his style. I love his bravado. You know, he's really come out of his shell over the what is it now? About, I guess we've been working together for about 16 months. Yeah. And he knows he's a winning capper. And as you know, Teece, as you are a professional sports gambler, when you're a winning capper, you do whatever you goddamn please.
You get to do whatever you goddamn please, Teece. Teece, don't make me go on the 76ers, Teece. I'll go right at the 76ers without fury. I'll go right at them.
Hey, I like what Top Set said earlier. He said 90% of the money sounds like a sting.
It's very dangerous. It's a very dangerous situation here for the NBA fans. Let's get right to work, Teece. There are 5 games in WNBA tonight. So if you want all of Teece's action, stick around after NBA Pub Hub. Here, he has given us 2 best bet situations. So let's get right started. 7 p.m. Eastern, the New York Liberty, 4-8, 1-4 on the road at the Indiana Fever, 3-11, 2-5 at home. We're at Indiana Farmers Coliseum in Indianapolis. This opened up with New York minus 3.5. It got up to minus 4.5 last night at 9:41 p.m. And now the bottom is dropped, and they are just 1.5 point favorites. So a big swing to Indiana. The total opened up at 158.5, and it's just climbed. It went to 159, 159.5, and now it's at 160.5. Teece, take us to the bank. New York Liberty, Indiana Fever.
These 2 teams, they played 9 days ago in the same arena, and the Liberty won 87-74. I had the Liberty on Tuesday and even wore my Liberty Air Jordans.
Ooh,
so
nice.
I'm not wearing them today because I do not have any action on the side. What I do have for you, though, is last night I grabbed a total of 158.5 over, and I believe it's at 160.5 now. Jim, want to check that for me?
Yes, but I bet I'm going to chop around and see if I can find the lower. But yes, it's at 160.5 over at Bet365.
I actually jumped on the first half at 78.5 last night. The last I saw it was at 80.5, and I still like it at 80.5. I kind of like both of them, both the first half and the full game. Because Sabrina Ionescu, she's hitting her shots. You know, she's a machine from 3. She's shooting 46, 47% on the season, and with the fast pace that the Fever play, I see a lot of points in this game. The Liberty, they just shook up their whole roster a little bit, so that's why I'm not on a side. They made a trade with Atlanta. I don't have my notes in front of me, so if you want to watch the show later on, I'll break it down, fully. But for the sake of getting the show going, and Jimmy, so you can get off, I'm just going to give you the over full game 160.5 is where I'm at.
Well, I can get you a 160 at minus 104, low vig. That's available at Pinnacle. The first half, I can get you over 81 at minus 110. While we're talking about the next game, I'm going to continue to line shop and see if I can beat that. But we have Teece's first double up here on the show, 2-0 so far when joining us. He's on the first half over 81 and the full game over minus 160 at minus 104. Teece is on the board. Let's move on to the second game that you are focusing on, that being 8 p.m. Eastern. Seattle Storm 6-5. Just 2 road games they've had this year. 0-2 on the road at the Dallas Wings. 6-5, 1-2 at homer. College Park Center in Arlington, Texas. Let's take a look at the market in this one.
Hey Jimmy, real quick. I just want to make it the only official play that I have, because that over's at 81. I don't want to give that as an official play, so I'm going to do the full game on that one for you guys.
The full game 160. Let me just see if there's any way I can get a better than 81 on the first half.
These lines, they just move so fast. Like once the morning hits, those things, the numbers I get are gone. And this is really evident in this next game I'm going to give out.
There is an 80.5 at Circa, but we want to just make the full game 160.
Yeah, let's just do the full game.
Okay, absolutely. And you do have the perfect record right now, so I can understand why you'd want to keep it that way. Over 160 at minus 104 in the Liberty Fever. The next game we are talking about is Seattle-Dallas. Seattle, the line opened at 8:05 p.m. last night with Seattle as 2.5-point favorites. At 10:48 this morning, they were 2.5-point favorites. And then the move to Seattle, a 3-point swing 9 minutes later. They went from 2.5 to 5.5, down to 5, back to 5.5. They are 5.5-point favorites right now. And from a total perspective, they opened up at 158.5 and have dropped all the way to 153.5. So a 5-point move to the under. And from the money line, just to give you a better idea, an 80-cent move to Seattle from minus 140 to minus 220. Take it away here, Teece. Last game on the card, Seattle Storm, Dallas Wings. And if you want all 5 games, check out Teece's show right after NBA Pub-Up. Take it away here, though, Storm Wings.
Yeah, as far as we got next show, I don't see it in the schedule. I tried to tweet it out earlier, so maybe we can get that put in the schedule so I can get that tweeted out
for
today.
For sure.
Okay. Also, on this game here, I got 158.5 last night. I took the under. I love the under. It dropped considerably, which I knew it would. And to be honest with you, I still like the under 153.5. I think there's value there still. I have this game around 145. Last time these two teams played, Dallas whooped them up 68-51. The Seattle just hasn't had the scoring that they've had in the past. And, I like Seattle as a side, and I grabbed them last night at the 2.5 or 3.5, whatever. I can't remember which one, but at 5.5, this is one that if I'm going to bet this, I'm going to bet Seattle on a side at that number, but I'm not comfortable doing that just because of the fact that this is a back-to-back game. They're going to play again on Sunday, and we know how that rolls in the WNBA. You're going to have a team get blown out in one of these games. So it's not going to be the same team. so I'm kind of off the side on this one. The under is the best play for me on this, and that's the one I'm going to give out officially to everybody today, 153.5. Dallas is missing Marina Mabry. That's she offers a lot of points, not a lot of points, but she offers a good chunk of scoring for the Dallas Wings. So that's why I wouldn't be on Dallas in the first game. But I did take Dallas first half money line at plus 130 a few hours ago. I just like to fade Seattle in the first half, and I almost pulled out a big whopper plus 195 on Tuesday with the Dream in first half money line. But I don't know what happened. They forced a 3 at the end of the first half and ended up losing the first half by 1. So I lost my 195. But today, under 153.5 in this Dallas Storm game.
Under 153.5. Much love to you, Roger. That we are 3 hours 34 deep. We're fighting the good fight, and this is a great card to do it with. So respect and thank you for the kind words. There you have it. Teece is on the under 153.5 and minus 110 in Seattle, Dallas, and the over 160. There's been this big market move towards Seattle, so now you can get Dallas first half at either plus 2.5 or let's see what else I could get. But you want to just focus on the total?
Yeah, I'm just focusing on the total. As far as an official pick, watch the show later on. I have a whole slate of picks today, but I just want to give out my best picks to the low baggers here. And Kyle, yes, 153. I still like it.
And yeah, 153. It's 153.5 at circa. And Mike, this is the first time I've actually had to worry about will I be able to pick up Ella from school. So if you want to talk horses for the Belmont Stakes, razor sharp picks, Cash It Fridays, and then join us all day tomorrow. Teece, I love your WNBA show. We're very thankful to have it here on Pub Sports Radio. Thank you for jumping on the show here and letting us know your go-to spots. Liberty Fever over 160 at minus 104. Storm Wings under 153.5 at minus 110. And follow our man Teece. Please do. He's a selfless capper. He just wants you to get that paper, and he's a professional sports gambler. He does it for a living, which should give the legitimacy and respect all over it. No selling picks, just a winning gambler, and that's why we love him so much here at Pub Sports Radio. So follow him at Parlay Teece on Twitter. Teece, my man, and his show will be right after NBA Pub Hub today, so probably around 4:35, around then 4:35. Any last words for the capper supporting the show, Teece, my guy?
No, I appreciate everybody. Come on out, get in the chat. I'd like to see the chat lit today. I'll be answering any questions. Going to have to make it quick though because we have 5 games. It's got to be before we got Say Hey, Jose Say Hey. That's going to make us rush, but maybe we'll make him wait today.
I love it. There he is, Parlay Teece, coming to us from Philly, Pennsylvania. All right, put a bow on it. Please join us tonight for Cash It Fridays and tomorrow for Belmont Stakes Day. I'll be alive for 11 hours. I have a fresh bottle of Kraken. I was sick last weekend, so I've been off the sauce now for a long time. I can almost taste the Kraken. And unfortunately, I know if I'm on radio show tonight, I'll have to have a couple drinks, but I can't have too many because I have so much work to do. I have so much capping to do for horses, which is my love, my sweet, sweet love. Kyle Hintley and love you, man. This is I love this group. I love this family so much that we have here. I love capping with you guys, and it's just so thankful. And I appreciate you guys. I appreciate your support because without it, I wouldn't be able to do this. And I'm extremely thankful. Let's review all action here. First off, Lightning -1 tomorrow. Lightning -1. I'm not messing with the total. It's an elimination game, and I'm just running real nice in NHL. 19-4. My last 23, and Lightning -1 seal the deal, and then we will have scripted the series for you guys. No, it was after. No, I didn't script the entire series because I had Lightning in game 1, and Dan Bonner was saying the break's going to hurt them, and so I didn't script the entire series. But once it was 2-0, and the Rangers let the Lightning come back from 3-2, it was a very easy script there, and a lot of people had the script, not just me. A lot of people felt it. So I'm on the Lightning -1. With confidence. Then in CFL, I'm on the Redblacks first half +6. That's moved to 4.5. Bobano's on the over 48, and I am 0-1 to start the year. I'm on the Rough Riders -2.5, -105. I think that's going to cash because you didn't see Bobano betting on his hometown Ticats. Then Bobano made very clear that he thinks I'm on very much the wrong side in my Elks first quarter +0.5 at -115. We'll see what Nathan Rourke can do in front of this big crowd in Vancouver tonight. He's on the Lions -3.5. That's his favorite bet. In MLB, Yankees team total over 4.5 for Bobano. I'm adding the first 5 under 4.5 in Milwaukee, Washington. That's if it's at minus 120. I don't want to pay minus 125 for that. Bobano's on the over 8.5 at minus 122 in Toronto, Detroit. I'm on Toronto Blue Jays minus 1. Kyle, I did reply to you in writing here. I'm not sure if you saw it, though, in the Toronto spot. This is exactly like the Brady Singer spot from 2 days ago, where the big bets are all over the Tigers, and I'm very nervous about this. And if I wasn't blindly betting the Blue Jays, I wouldn't bet them today. But I'm sticking to what's working, and I'm following it very closely, and I'm blind betting the Blue Jays every day on the -1 line. I'm adding the under 4.5 at minus 120 in Pittsburgh, Atlanta. Bobano's on the over 9 at minus 112 in Baltimore, Kansas City. Matty Ice is on the taint play of the day, which is the Royals minus 105. Bobano's on the Marlins first 5 at plus 123. Tampa Bay, Minnesota, we stayed off. I'm adding the first 5 Rangers. Bobano doubled up on the cards, first 5 in full game. Piker's wrong hole play of the day is the Angels at plus 115. First 5 under 4 Rockies, Padres, I'm adding. Bobano's on the Red Sox first 5, at minus 111. Full game minus 106 and the over 8.5 at minus 115, correlating with the spreadsheet play today that's on the Boston Red Sox. I am on the Dodgers first 5 minus half and full game minus 1. I can't wait. Obviously, it's going to be hard to watch that game because all eyes are going to be on Boston at the TD Garden. Dodgers, Giants. Bobano's on the over 9 plus 103. I'm on the Dodgers first 5 full game. Derl is on the Warriors money line tonight. Warriors first half plus 2. Draymond Green over 7.5 points and Klay Thompson over 20.5 points. And will those be the last official picks from Derl in this year's NBA season? If so, he's been spectacular. 101 wins, 75 losses, 57.4%, plus 20.94 units, ROI plus 11.90%, average line minus 103. And Kyle Hintley says, Jay's my best bet. Well, that gives me a lot more confidence. So I like seeing that. I like seeing that very, very much. Then Jose not adding anything. He's on Celtics money line and sitting back, fat and happy and confident. I love it. I love it. He brought a lot of fun to the show. Teece, full game over.
Jimmy, how was the NBA segment? I blacked out. How did it go?
It was great. It was very fun.
Okay,
very, very fun. Teece, full game over 160, New York, Indiana, and under 153.5, Seattle, Dallas. I can still hear the bottles. Ron Crawford, spreadsheet play of the day, Phoenix Mercury. And Clint started the Die Hard MMA podcast 3 hours and 41 minutes ago. He gave us his looks for UFC 275. So I'll drop that here for you guys in the chat. This is from Clint McLean. Let me just write Clint McLean on the top so you guys know it's not my action. Clint McLean. There you go. That's Clint McLean's action. James Matthews at plus 125. He's parlaying Yuri and Glover under 3.5. And Val Santos over 1.5 at minus 150. Those, he says, are his 2 best bets on the card. He also has Matthews for a KO at plus 1,000. For just a taste, he says. Just a taste. And AM's barbecue sauce titty play of the day's UEFA Nations League, Denmark team total over 1.5 minus 120. There we have it. That is being betting with the bag here on Friday, June 10th. Jose, spectacular job producing the show. And we have nothing without you guys in the chat. Johnny Gonzalez says he'll be at the Padres game tonight. I love it, Johnny. I love it. We've got a lot of San Diego Cappers, so we'd love to get you guys all together to hang because I love
West
seeing
Coast,
that.
West Coast.
Say what, my man?
West Coast, best coast. That's what they say, right?
They do say it, and I agree with it.
Except
but
for
the sun
sports.
rises in the east, as J. Rue the Damager would tell you.
I don't know who that is.
And HD Tube says, all jokes aside, Jose is really doing this heel character full justice.
What are you talking about?
Kyle Hintley and my man, much love to you and your family and your sweet daughter who gave us a shout out today. We love her. Johnny Gonzalez, Roger, that, Teece, Max Swelly, Real Deal Prime, North Ender says, yes, sir, Tampa -1. Think about adding a Rangers team total under 2 for about plus 150. I get it. I'm just going to keep it clean, man. Keep it clean for me. I'm just Lightning -1. Keep it clean. Keep the winners coming in. Billy Friedrich, Mike M, Ryan Kozlowski, Joe Yurkovich, Top Set, Sammy, Officer of 50, Ayash Allah. All you guys, thank you so much for your support. Eric Romero, Zoe Faye, Ron Walsek. Is there a 2-mile race at Belmont? God, I love that.
Fuck yeah.
Oh, the marathon's always been my favorite race my whole life, and I was so upset when they stopped making it one of the Graded stakes race. Well, it's still a graded race, right? But they stopped making it one of the main races for the Breeders' Cup. I loved it as a Breeders' Cup race. When they took it off as a Breeders' Cup race, I was hurt. I was very, very hurt. And it's when I fell in love with the Argentinian horse Kaleidoscopio, who I watched win the marathon in person at 7-1, and didn't have him, but fell in love with him. Had him in the Brooklyn, where one of the best comebacks in the history of this. I think it's the best comeback in all of horse racing. I didn't know there's 2 mile race, Ronnie. I love you guys. Thank you so much for all your support. JPC, Don Mac, Jared TG, Alex G, all you guys. On behalf of Jose, big thank you to you, Jose. Great job producing the show, and thank you for all your hard work.
I have one more thing.
Sure, my man.
I have one more thing. Someone, Kyle Hantley, and first of all, he's going to make a 10K bet on the Lightning, apparently. Shout out to him. But doesn't that make your hands sweat a little bit?
It just started. It's just like my left hand just started leaking. Like I swear to God, like I just felt like I see it. It's glistening right now when I look down at it. Jesus, now he's been profiting a lot, so I'm sure that's profit I'm sure it's the house's money that he's using, but good God, that's a big bet.
I thought you were going to say, I'm sure that's his house's money, because that would be what I would be doing there if I'd be a 10K bet. It'd be money from my house that I sold to make that bet. But Jimmy.
Yes.
When I have doubts about myself on this earth,
sure,
I lean back to one phrase that typically just recenters me. It brings me back to median, and Kyle Hantley wants it, and who am I?
I think it's best if we close the show on this, because it's a special moment.
Oh my! Well, then you're gonna have to hit the button then, because
when I hit the button, does it just end weirdly?
Well, no, you have to hit the outro button. So this is the on the fly. This is the on the fly producing we do here on the Say Hey Plays and Jimmy the Bag and Betting with the Bag. But like I said, hold on, Jimmy. We just give the people what they want. And when in doubt, all you have to do is take your fucking 2 hands, grab that flag, God damn it, we both hit it! No!